The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. What's up? It's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. Got a great show for you this evening. How do I know? Because I said so, and we typically do. We're going to give you solutions to the problems that are simply having problems in the world today. In backstage, we've already got people riled up, ready to go. We're going to be talking about how to avoid toxic relationships. It's been a very much of a key topic in these YouTube streets, Instagram, wherever you may be listening. There's always a conversation about toxicity. So, but before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. And then every guest that comes up, make sure you go check them out because they got something good to say. So our question that we have starting off is, what's the number one quality you look for in a partner? What's the number one quality you look for in a partner? And I'm sure she's ready. They don't even know which one I'm talking about. Welcome to the stage, Miss Ash in the.
I'm ready.
What's up?
Oh, nothing much. Let's see. The quality I look for is transparency. Like, how much are you willing to show your authentic self? Because I don't like dealing with masks. I mean, I barely wear makeup, and when I do, it's really on special occasions because that takes a lot of time. And I don't want you to take time into building a fake character for me to deal with. And I have run into that. That's the only reason why I say that is because people think they know what you want instead of getting to know you to know what you actually want.
So you want the truth up front?
Yeah, true. Give me the truth because if I know you, that means I don't have to walk on eggshells about certain things. If I know saying you're stupid or something like that, that's a trigger because it may have happened like when you were little, somebody may have called you stupid. No shots, no pun intended to nobody. But if I know that about you, we'll avoid certain words. Okay, you're a little ignorant today, so saying okay, a little stupid. But hey, whatever. I digress.
I'm interested to see if anybody respond to you about that particular statement. But we gonna get to we gonna go to the next one. Hey, with none other than the one, the only, Mr. Antagonist himself. Prototype in the building. I was just kidding, but you are sometimes, bro. You know it.
Can't even help it. I don't even know what I'm doing it. But it's been a minute since I've had this question, right? Maybe like 15 years off the game at this point. But it was probably cooperation. You know what I mean? Like once I realized somebody was cool, we're not going to trip about situations going on, or somebody that can go with the flow of whatever the day is coming with. So cooperation has to be the number one thing I always look for.
That's a bet. That's a bet. Cooperation. I like that one. Hey, and then you already know, hey, I would say that she is in this space and doing some different things about trying to talk to women about what it's like to be a wife and the things that we have not or was not taught to be a wife from the women's perspective. None other than it's me.
What's going on? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
The answer to my question now, like the answer to this question for me now is the fear of the Lord. Like if he ain't scared of God, you know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing to do with him because, and I mean that in the most respectful way, because if he's accountable to God, then I don't necessarily have to worry about him being stupid or doing stupid things. per se. So mine would be the fear of the Lord, for real.
Okay, that's a bit. Appreciate you. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody want to say something, but we're gonna bring
Oh
everybody.
yeah, no. Prototype want to say something. His face was like,
We gonna wait. We gonna wait. We gonna bring because I'll be Pentecostal in this space. So we gonna hold on for a moment. Hey, none other than we gonna welcome the very white of the YouTube streets. Also, I would say somewhat of a Socrates, Mr. Lost in Translation. What's up, honey?
Good evening, sir. How are you this evening?
Good, bro. Good to see you.
Good. Listen, one of the things I look for is empathy and understanding. A non-toxic person shows empathy, understanding, and compassion. They care about your well-being and they can put themselves in your shoes. You don't ever want to get into a situation where they just really don't care nothing about you. Just whatever it is they can get out of you, and that's it. You want somebody to be able to understand exactly what you're going through, and you want to be able to do that for them as well. Because after all, man, life is long, and you want to be able to make sure that you're with somebody who actually cares. So that's my main thing, empathy and understanding. Mute must have got you on with that.
It automatically put me on mute, my bad. Good stuff, man. I appreciate you for being here as usual.
My pleasure.
And then none other than, I've been knowing this young man for a minute. I call him the young OG, none other than Mr. Trio AC.
My boy, what's going on, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing, man. Amazing. Appreciate you having me. Panelists, what up, baby? Y'all good?
What's happening, Troy?
I love to hear it. As far as the quality, man, I think first thing come to mind is selflessness. I think if you have somebody that's selflessness, that opens the door to everything else that you're gonna need from them. Whether it's them being held accountable, you being prioritized, them putting value in things that you may like and they may not necessarily care too much for. But when you move with selflessness, that opens up the door for everything else. The communication is easier because it's not, you are what you being selfish, so you're not really wanting to, accept what they or trying to hear them out the way that you may should. And I think there's a lot of people that go into relationships lacking selflessness, even though they claim to have it. And one thing about a relationship is, like I always say, is going to put a magnifying glass on who you really are, better than anything that I've ever seen. So yeah, selflessness, man.
That's a good one. I think the one that I would say that embodies mostly what all of you have said is Christ-centered. Christ-centered meaning that they are going to be selfless. They're going to think of me as well as think of themselves. They're willing to follow the plan that I put in place. And also being able to give, not necessarily guidance, but also some thought behind what it is that they see me doing as well. So I think of a woman that's able to say, you know what, I know how to follow Christ, so I know how to follow you. That would be one of the number one things for me, right? And everybody has something different, but there is, I think, an outline of what we all want, and that's for people to be themselves, right? And so that way we can move accordingly, as opposed to dating your shadow or your ghost instead of dating the person who you are. And I think that's what we're going to get into. That's going to help us with the conversation this evening. So the first question, so that we can kind of get a context on the topic, is what is an item you would describe as toxic? What is an item that you would describe as toxic? Okay, and we'll start with Jamie.
Like a household item or just anything in general?
Anything in general, just not people.
Okay, bleach. Bleach is toxic. You can't ingest bleach. I mean, it cleans, but it's also toxic at the same time. So
Okay, got you.
That's
Bleach.
my answer. And then let's go with ash. Yep.
You think you cute. You gonna take my doggone answer, there go call on me. I'm gonna go with the next household cleaning product. Comet. The old one where you sprinkled, you can digest it. Yes, it's gonna clean some stuff. That's how you know you're really cleaning and scrubbing. But that powder getting in your mouth is something wrong. Too much of it is a bad thing. Next person, prototype.
I'm gonna go with alcohol. Although you can have a good time, you were killing yourself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with that.
You're lagging, or is it me?
No, I'm probably lagging.
Okay, bet. Who you got going next?
Let's go with Lost.
I'm going to say ammonia, man. You know, it cleans real good, but you can't be around it too long. You know, you're going to get choked out. So I'm going to say ammonia, man. That's real toxic. And Trill, it's on you, my guy.
I'm gonna say sage. Being on social media, man, there be some of the most toxic people in the world. They be lighting sage and just letting it all smoke around the house, trying to get the demons and get the negative energy out the house. Meanwhile, you are the demon and you are the negative energy. So I think, you know, it's not a coincidence that so many people gravitate to sage. So that's what I'm going with.
That threw me off. I didn't see sage coming, bro. I didn't. I would say if I had to choose something of an item that is toxic, I would say the first thing that comes to mind is gas, right? Gas. I mean, the reason why, but it's toxic, but it's good for an engine, or it's good for cooking, or it's good for, you know, if you're trying to utilize it to barbecue or grill. However, that's not something that you want to intake, right? However, even though these elements of that we talked about as being toxic, I want to understand to some degree, why have we now talked about toxic relationships? Like the word has been transitioned to be connected to relationships. And so my question to y'all is, do you believe that currently how we look at it is toxicity or toxic? Is it universal? Or is it just a United States type of thing as it relates to being toxic? All right. And we're going to start with Lost. Do you believe that toxic is universal?
You know, anytime somebody says the word toxic, I'm always going to have my red flag up, man, because 9 times out of 10, when somebody says that somebody's being toxic, you know what it sounds to me? It sounds like that other person is just not doing what the other person wants them to do. You know what I'm saying? Because in any other situation, you know, it's fine. But the minute that somebody asks them to do something and they don't feel like doing it, then it's toxic. So I think it's probably universal, you know what I mean, across the world. It doesn't have to be something that's here in America. It could be abroad. You know what I'm saying? Anytime somebody says, hey, I don't want to do what you want me to do when you want me to do it, then all of a sudden you get labeled toxic, you know?
Okay.
I'm going to roll with prototype this time.
I don't know. I lost the question because of what you said.
Is toxic universal? Because it's used a lot. So what do you think about as it relates to being a universal term?
I would say yes, it is universal. It comes off different when the toxic person is calling somebody else toxic. But yeah, I would definitely say it's a universal term.
Okay.
So I want to say there's a standard for what's considered toxic, but like I said, when somebody toxic says somebody else is toxic, then it blurs the line a little bit.
So you think that the person that's saying they're toxic, that somebody else is toxic, that's the toxic person?
Yeah, generally, yeah. So if a person like, oh, this person is toxic, they're probably the toxic one, because that other person is really probably trying to work it out, being compassionate, be empathetic. You know what I'm saying? They're not saying they're toxic, so it's a weird game. So you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you can't be the one that say it first, type deal. Like, you know what I mean? So
no worries, I got you. I just wanted to kind of set the stage for sure. Who you got?
Let's go with Trill.
Toxic is definitely universal, but I think that's because it's so subjective. You know, going back to what bro said earlier, you know, it's simply a lot of times coming from just somebody doing something that you don't like. And it may be right for you, or they may be telling you the truth, or they may be dealing with you in a way that you open the door for them too. But because you don't like the outcome, Now that person is toxic. No. That person been who they was when you first met them. You was letting stuff slide that shouldn't have been let slide, thinking that you was gonna get a different outcome than you got. But unfortunately, it went the other way. So now that person is toxic. No. You're toxic. You were toxic because your boundaries wasn't set firm enough. You toxic because your self-esteem and your confidence is not where it need to be. So that's why these people gravitate to you. So I think it's definitely universal because it's so subjective. In
You
my
just blame the victim?
Of course. Of course. Because more times than not, the victim had way more culpability in the outcome than they or the people around them are willing to admit. And we got to stop giving people a pass just because the other person had brought the straw that broke the camel back. No. It was a lot of shit that you enabled, a lot of stuff that you opened the door for that got us here. And that got to be acknowledged. If not, you're going to continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. So that's just my take on it. We're going to go with Ash.
I agree with everybody. It is universal. And the toxic pointer is probably the one that's toxic. I've been labeled as toxic, so hey, whatever. To each his own. You either take the drug or not. You either want to get better or not. That's the way I look at it. Because either way, you gonna move on.
Have you ever called somebody toxic?
No, they always call me. What? Who said it? They beat me to the punch. They beat me to the punch.
So you was thinking it. You just didn't say it.
Here you go. I tell you all the time, I'm not with these new age terms. Look here. You bad for me, you bad for me. I'm finna walk away. But when you call me toxic, it's like, dude, how I'm toxic if I'm just asking you to do something that can benefit both of us? It's here you go. As my old supervisor used to say, it's a general request. It's just a general request. Either you're gonna do it or not. And to me, I feel like everybody wants to take these new terms that we done learn from the psychologists and wrap up in them and say, you're toxic, you're hurting my feelings. Baby, level up with your feelings.
Okay, level up with your feelings. Who you got?
Jamie.
Yes, it's a universal term. And that's all I'm going to say. Everybody else said everything. So it's kind of like if I say anything else, it's just redundant. And I'm just kind of wasting airtime. So let's go. I want to be first next time though, so I can say something.
Oh, so now you want to be first. Like you always tell me, don't call on you first. Okay. I got you. You're gonna get the first question. So I would say, based on what I've seen, yes, toxic is a universal term because of how people see the world, right? People want to be able to say that somebody else is doing something wrong. That's what it seems like, what I see. And so people don't want to say, you know what, it was me that was the issue, as opposed to just saying it's you. Because all of us could. What's crazy, this is the crazy thing to me, that people will say, everybody's not perfect, I'm not perfect. But then when somebody points out your imperfection, then it's a problem. Like it's just baffling. It's just baffling to me. So yes, I believe it's a universal term. Even when I lived in India, it was the same thing, right? People would point out that somebody else was doing something when it's clearly them that's the problem, right? So that's kind of like channeling where we're going to be going and talking about how to avoid these toxic relationships, seeing as though that it's a universal term. This is a conversation that everybody can I believe learn from. So with my next question or topic, I want to ask the question, how do you, I'm sorry, I apologize, I missed it. What does a toxic relationship look like? What does a toxic relation look like? And we already know who we going to first. We ain't got to guess. We already know, right? Do I need to? Okay.
No. And I'm not ready, but I'm going to give what I think a toxic relationship looks like. Jamie. I want to go first because I want something to say. I want to say something, right? Like, is that being toxic right now? Am I being toxic in this situation?
Yes, you're being toxic.
It feels like
example. All right.
You're being toxic.
You literally said,
yeah.
Can I go first?
I meant it too. And I'm gonna ride this out.
Around the word toxic, just so you know.
Yeah, I just wanted like this good example.
Go ahead.
No, toxic in a relationship looks like, well, really what I just did, but it's also the ability to be selfish. It's two individuals who come in with the ideal of what they want and not willing to compromise on either end. So that's what I've seen usually happens is a power struggle, because somebody came in lying and another person came in lying, and then they want to kind of manipulate each other into being who and what they want to be, what they want them to be. Do you get what I'm saying? So that is my basic definition of a toxic relationship. And then we'll go with the new person that pulled up, Mr. Viral.
Mr. Viral. What's up, sir?
What's the deal, man? Can you repeat the question for me? I came in on the tail end of that.
Hey, absolutely. It's what does a toxic relationship look like?
It got many forms. I would describe it as anything that's not conducive to the mission. So that could be from a male perspective or the female perspective. If y'all in a relationship and y'all not on the same path, and what she's doing is counterproductive to the mission of what he's trying to lead her to, that's toxic. If he's leading her to things that's counterproductive to success of the relationship, that's toxic. Like, we only just think of drama, like, oh, he's cheating, she's cheating. There's all different type of forms of toxic. There's no one label on it. So I would say anything that's counterproductive to success to your relationship is toxic for sure.
Anything that's counterproductive is toxic. That's a good thought. Who you got going next?
Man, let me pass it off to my boy Trill, man.
Bet. Man, what's toxic? I think toxicity in a relationship looks like a relationship that's one-sided. I think it's a lot of people that get into relationships to where the leverage is so much on one side that the other person is trying to basically fight to prove themselves instead of them coming into it both feeling privileged to be there. I think that's where most relationships go wrong at, ironically, before they even begin. If both people don't feel like it's a privilege to be there, y'all have no chance of the relationship surviving, because the one with the leverage is going to move like that, whether it's some kind, because I feel like you're not going nowhere anyway, right? So I could do what I want to do. I can neglect, I can, not value you, not prioritize you, whatever the case, and I know you're not going nowhere. But the whole time, ironically, from the other end, instead of like realizing that and seeing that this person ain't really valuing me that way and just walking, they got an urge to kind of prove themselves, prove that I belong here. So I'm gonna go harder, even though I'm not getting what I want in return, because they just ain't seeing all parts of me. You know what I'm saying? Or they done been through a lot. You get to making excuses for why they not giving you what it is that you need. So it's gonna be a relationship where you're gonna forever be trying to prove yourself. Even with men going into relationships with insecure women. To where it's like now it's a full-time job for me to repair your self-esteem. That's toxic. You are fighting a uphill battle because the leverage was off before the relationship even started. So that's what I would label it, man. We're gonna go to loss.
You know what does a toxic relationship look like? It comes in many forms, but the main thing that I can think of is manipulation, man. It's always trying to leverage a position to get exactly what you want. It can come in many forms. It can come in the silent treatment, withholding sex, you know what I mean? And withholding provision, ignoring the other person, you know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Any type of manipulation that goes on into the relationship is toxic, because you're not building trust in relationship when you do stuff like that. You know what I mean? You're always name calling and all this other stuff. You have somebody, you're the toxic one. In psychology, they say if you spot it, you got it. 9 times out of 10, usually the person who's calling the other person toxic is the toxic person. You know what I'm saying? So all the name calling and the manipulation, you know what I mean, through verbal jousting, I think a lot of that is toxic. And I see a lot of that in relationships these days. I'm going to go with prototype now.
Hearing Trill's and Mr. Viral's answer, that made me think y'all the toxic ones, like what y'all just said. Man, I'm gonna piggyback. I definitely wrote down manipulation, what Trill said. What Law said, right? Manipulating your partner. I at first it was manipulating your partner in the wrong way, right? Like a pimp manipulates a female to to hit the strip. That's a toxic thing, right? But I guess manipulating at all, right, is could be considered toxic. I will also go with I'm gonna just hit the the hit on the nail, right? The nail on the head. Verbal abuse and physical abuse. That's toxic. You know what I'm saying? Like, so not to come at y'all, but what y'all said, I don't feel is necessarily toxic. It might not be the best environment, but that don't mean it's toxic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever looked at your blood type and foods you can eat, there's unhealthy, neutral, and healthy. And I think what y'all mentioned was on the neutral side. It don't hurt you, but it's not gonna not gonna hurt you emotionally, but it's not gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? But let's be real that there's real verbal abuse, physical abuse out here. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women will y'all just gave women the condition to say this relationship is toxic and they're not really being toxic. That's why I say you guys like, oh, y'all the toxic ones, because y'all just gave them a condition to say a situation is terrible, and it's not really that. It could be something that can be worked out. But if somebody's physically or verbally abusing you, that you should run away from. That's toxic. That you shouldn't ingest. Everything else, the other situations, you can kind of like, hey, we're not on the same page or this. Those things can be worked out. But if somebody is like physically and verbally abusing you, calling you like wild names, you know what I'm saying, or manipulating you to get you to do weird stuff or sign over the will to them, like, you know what I'm saying, give me the assets, like, that's toxic. So I guess I don't think Ash went though, but go ahead, Ash.
But before you go, did anybody want to respond?
Yeah, I wanted to respond to that. I can be toxic. That's true, but you know, the ladies love the toxicity though. I ain't gonna lie. But I will say it's not just verbal and physical abuse, because that's what we automatically think. You can be the nicest guy in the world and be toxic as fuck. You can be giving her emotional support. You can be non-physically abusive, but you draining y'all bank account, you crashing y'all, you damn near leading y'all into homelessness. That's toxic as fuck. But on the outer shell, you a nice guy. She explained to you, she described you to her family, excuse me, you the nicest guy on the planet. But realistically, you're leading the relationship into failure. To me, that's toxic more than a guy who might be a little verbally abusive, whatever the hell that is, because lead it up to women these days. If you speak with any type of masculinity, you're verbally abusive.
Am I a man with
any
a
type
dream?
of sternness, you're verbally abusive. If you disagree with anything women say today, you're verbally abusive. So I don't really even like that term, because we all adults. So I don't go too deep with the verbal abuse, because leave it up to women. Unless you agreeing with them 100%, you're verbally abusive as a man. So I really don't get into that. Now, the physical abuse, that's a whole nother lane. I don't respect none of that, but let's just keep it real. Women are more physically abusive than men. Women stay hitting on men in relationships. 9 times out of 10, if you want to talk about domestic abuse, it's coming from a woman. We just take it because they can't hurt us and we don't talk about it like they do. But to keep it real, like I said, it doesn't have one solid face like, oh, this is toxic. Like, oh, she just hit on you. Nah, she could be nice. She could be smiling in your face, and she could be fucking 100 dudes behind your back. But at home, she cooks, she cleans, she do everything. She makes sure your cup is full, but when she leave the house, she's sucking dick up the block. That's still toxic too. So it really don't have a face.
Trill, go ahead.
Yeah, and I just find it funny. Prototype let's start the convo, say I disagree with y'all, and then make my point for me on the back end. Because again, he got to talking about like something being toxic, like pimping and hoeing. You know what I'm saying? To be it on the stroll, but that's the same thing, right? There's a leverage difference here. A lot of those pimps prey on women whose self-esteem is low, may not have nowhere to stay, may not have no guidance, may not have no protection. I come in knowing that, and I just puppet string your ass because I'm dangling the carrot in front of you. The thing about men, which we don't talk about a lot, is we can spot insecurity on a woman from a mile away. Easily. You know what I'm saying? Before we even have a conversation with her. And as a matter of fact, that kind of like dictates the way we're going to approach her a lot of times, if we're going to keep it G. But that's another conversation for another day. But my point is, there's a leverage difference. And if there's a leverage difference, and I know it is, I'm going to use that to puppet string you. And that can definitely be detrimental, more so than it would be neutral. So That's just it. But just wanted to point out, Prototype made my point for me at the end. Appreciate you, bro.
Go ahead, Prototype. What you got?
So there's times where there is leverage, right? And if I'm a good guy, generally, if you're a guy and with a woman, you generally probably have leverage because women don't mess with you unless you're better than them anyway. You know what I'm saying? So if you have leverage, so your job would just be to like nurture that, to bring her up to speed, give her some game, make sure she, you give her some tools to be a better person. It's all about using it to be better. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you are there is a leverage in that, but at the same time, she's not going to listen to you. You're not going to be able to mold her. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole job of a groom is to mold his wife. That's what a groom is. He molds his wife. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not molding her and making her better, you need leverage to even do that. If you don't have that leverage, you cannot do that. She's not going to listen to you. She's going to bite back. It's going to be a respect issue. You know what I'm saying? All the other stuff comes. So if you use it for the wrong, then yeah, that's what the pimping and the hoeing is. But if you use it for the right, you know what I'm saying? You help her push forward, get more, be better, get educated. You know what I'm saying? Be a better mom. That's what you're supposed to do with that leverage. You know what I'm saying? And that's not toxic.
All right, that's a bet.
I can tell you what's toxic. In certain situations, if you know something about somebody and you can use that to your advantage, you can actually definitely be toxic. Say, for instance, if a woman has abandonment issues, you know what I'm saying? And you know this. And, some people just can't stand to be by themselves for a while and you withdraw your presence. That's a form of manipulation. You see what I'm saying? And you can actually definitely cut off the conversation and then they'll start thinking about themselves. Another person just left me. And then psychologically, they'll start to thinking, am I good enough? So you can definitely do mental damage. And sometimes the worst scars are the ones you can't see. And most people who are master manipulators, they know this going in ahead of time. So basically, if you know somebody who has abandonment issues, you can definitely use that to your advantage. But that's the main reason why I tell a lot of women, hey man, make sure you fix whatever that is in your psyche before you get into a relationship. Because what's going to happen is you're going to latch on to anything and it's going to stop you from seeing red flags, all because you don't want to be alone. And it's not so much as that person is the person that's for you. It's the person that's there paying attention to you. You see what I'm saying? So you'll start to overlook a lot of things that you probably shouldn't because you haven't fixed that abandonment issue. And in the wrong hands, that could do a lot of damage to somebody's psyche. Really good. Go ahead, Uncle Dan.
No doubt, man. That's good. Hey, we rocking and rolling. Jamie, it's on you. What, it's not on you?
It's on Ash.
Oh, my bad, Ash. Go ahead.
See, you done took my spot. Nobody knows that I'm last anymore.
That's
Mind your business. Mind your business. Stay in your lane, okay? Stay in your middle lane. Okay, y'all done said everything. Pretty much, to me, I was going to say it's in the eye of the beholder because everybody's definition of toxic is different. But I do agree with everybody on the panel, though. You got the master manipulators, you got the master victims, especially, let's just talk about the master victim. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I did.
I was going to go there. That was going to be my next question. Wow.
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and bring it in the room. The master victim is like, oh, you don't do this for me. Oh, my God. What? I don't understand why you just won't. And it's like, okay, wait. Why are you crying out of nothing? Because I saw this stuff done. I'm like, really? You falling for that dude? I'm like, you need to really realize what's going on here. She crying for no reason. And I'm like, how does this work? Because to me, I'm a genuine person. I don't wear my feelings on my sleeve. And I'm like, how you crying? Because he didn't do what? You broke up with him because he didn't do what? Excuse me. It's some of us out here want a decent man and you out here just throwing away like you playing, what is that? Pokemon, go out there and catch them, and release them back. But the master victim, that's who people don't give credit to because that woman or that man will play on every insecurity you got to keep you either below them or in a space where you feel like you can't be without them. Like that.
I just want to say amen, Ash. I just want to say amen because them master victims, they don't get talked about enough. Them women and men who play victim, They don't get talked about enough when you're talking about that toxic lane. That's more toxic than verbal, whatever you want to call it, abuse or whatever, because it get to a point where you can't criticize, you can't talk, you can't bring up an issue, nothing. They just go straight to the victimization. Oh, I'm a victim, and cry, and not a conversation over. So that's a big one. I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm gonna give you some kudos and some cool points on that one.
That's
Okay,
what's that was
and just
literally.
one more thing. Just
Go
one
ahead.
more thing. Remember how I said a couple weeks ago my ex was trying to get back the whole ex fiance or whatever? He was playing the victim. Oh, Ash, I hurt myself in this car. I'm like, I don't see a scar. Okay, but where's the damage? Like, if you, because my thing is, I've been in a car wreck, okay? And here recently, matter of fact, when you say you've been in a car wreck, you're going to be just a little traumatized, okay? But if you say you've been in a car wreck where you hit your head, you lost your memory, I'm sorry, I had to take a moment to laugh because I knew it was a lie. That's a victim thing. And you don't know who you're talking to. Baby, I know you. I know you from jump. I studied you because I wanted to marry you. So I know right now you're in your victim lane. You're finna put all the fixings of a good old good old loaded mashed potato in front of my face because you know I like mashed potatoes, okay? But I'm not finna eat it because that's a lie. That celery is not real. I don't even eat that. That's cream cheese. No. Sir, there's something in that cream cheese. It's a little blue cheese. No, I'm not taking that. I'm not buying it. That's why I say people don't understand. Like when you really want to talk about toxic, it's not always the person that's being toxic. It's that victim, that master victim that comes in and I'm dying. It ain't even died. They just got a little paper cut, you know? And it may sound harsh and it may trigger somebody, but guess what? You're probably the master victim.
Okay, I see where you at. So, like I said, that was like literally going into my next question, and I think a couple of y'all described it. Said so. I want to know because we just talked about what the toxic person looks like and is, but y'all kind of started talking about the victim. So I want to kind of give some more adjectives to describe the victim of a toxic relationship. I think Trill got me thinking about this question. So we'll start with Trill. Like, describe the the victim of a toxic relationship.
Low self-esteem, zero boundaries, feeling a constant need to prove yourself. A lot of times trauma, background full of trauma, maybe upbringing, maybe parenting, maybe people that you dealt with before. But just, the main things is just low self-esteem, lack of confidence. I think that right there just opens the door to all kind of stuff. And going back to what bro said earlier, most people would rather die. Most people would rather use a relationships to fix themselves instead of fixing themselves before they get into one. I think that's the problem. Like I said, we as men, I know I can. I can spot an insecure woman a mile away. That's why, it always be funny to me to hear certain dudes like they maybe see a little chick on Instagram or something, she fine as hell. They be like, I love to have it. And I just look at them and be like, you have no idea, brother. It'd be funny because they'll be the restart. They try to date her, whatever the case may be. 2 weeks in, they like, man, bro, you was right, man. She tripping, insecure. She blowing my phone up. She don't believe nothing I tell her. Da, 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 da. And it's just like, yeah, because a lot of pretty ass faces hide insecurity and hide low self esteem. So to answer the question, I think that's what a toxic victim, if you can even call it that, looks like. Then we're gonna go. Where I ain't went yet. We're gonna go to Jamie.
Oh yeah, Jamie, you know this one. You talk to a lot of people.
Oh yeah. But I'm only gonna add it being trained for abuse. So it really starts at home a lot of times. Is like, I'm gonna give for instance, with the lack of boundaries. So say you have a parent that doesn't communicate with you very well, and every time you do something that dissatisfies them, they stop talking to you. And then the only way that you can get the parent to talk back to you is for you to do what they ask you to do, even though you don't want to do that. Or it's like, why do I have to do it? Is there somebody else that can do it? So the manipulation starts early on. So you are programmed to be abused later on in life because you never knew how to set a boundary because your parents started you off that way. So I just kind of want to like put it in there, being trained for abuse, because a lot of times the lack of boundaries comes from you know, like you know you can talk about your parent, but you're like, hey, I need you to feed me. I need you to act like I exist here in this space. And you haven't been talking to me for like 48 hours just because I did not do what you wanted me to. And I know that's not like I'm giving you just a scenario, but that's not everybody's story. But you can be trained to be a victim, and then you are so used to being the victim that you create these scenarios in every relationship that you're in, whether it's a relationship with a man or a friendship. You end up doing that. You end up creating this chaos because that's what you're used to, because that's what you equate to as love and as regular. So I will go with I don't think let me go with Ash, because I know she don't want to be last. Right? Did that rhyme? You like how I did that?
I'm not for your shenanigans today, baby. I'm not for, but hey, I'm gonna come on with it. Okay. Let's see the victim. Let's see. Let's go with it. Constant need of validation. Constant need of validation. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Because when I was a QA in the call center world, I always tell people, don't look for me to validate if you're doing it right. You need to know this, because I'm not going to always be right here. And that's what I tell my kids all the time. You don't need my approval to be you. And to me, I think with victims, it's always that need. I need to prove. Like, it's going back to what Trill said earlier. I need to prove myself in this instant. And to me, I don't think people understand that. You can make yourself a victim and not knowing that somebody can see that and be like, oh, you want to prove. Okay. So how far are you willing to go? How far you want to go? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people take that as a weakness, and then they can run with it and play with it. And then they know if you're going to go to the end of the earth, they're going to push you off just to see if you will fall, just to see if you will let them push you there. Hey, we're going to go with Mr. Viral, because he look like he done built something up.
Nah, I'm chilling, man. As far as a victim of a toxic relationship, to not repeat what any of you have already said, I'm gonna say they're not victims. 9 times out of 10, they're volunteers. Most people, when they see the toxicity and the main things that they're complaining about, oh, he's physically abusive, or she's verbally abusive, oh, he cheats, oh, she cheats, but then they stay. They stick around to continue enduring the abuse. So at that point, you're not a victim, you're a volunteer. Just like this whole Cassie situation, everybody going crazy. Oh, Diddy did this. Did you see what he did on the tape? Yeah, but she stuck around for 10 years for that. She ain't a victim, she's a volunteer. And that's 9 times out of 10, that's most people. They become addicted to the abuse to the point where they get in a relationship where there's no toxicity and they don't know how to react to it, and they'll sabotage it. They'll start being toxic. So 9 times out of 10, if you're in a toxic relationship, you're a volunteer. You're not a victim, because you should have left at the first sign of the toxic shit. Like, we're all adults. We all know how to read people by now. We know how to see the red flags, but we overlook the red flags. Like, oh, I could change them. Oh, I could change her. And 10 years done went by, and we done wasted 10 years of life when we knew we should have left the first week, the first month, the first 60 days. So most people are volunteers. They're not victims.
Interesting point. Hey, who you got going next?
I'm going lost in translation, because he be disagreeing with what we be saying. So
not this time. Not this time, Mr. Viral. Listen, I think a lot of times, man, people try to wear victimhood as a costume. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. Most times people only know how to work a relationship one way. You know what I'm saying? You ever been to math class and the teacher give you extra points for solving a math problem a different way? Well, guess what? And sometimes in certain situations and relationships, people only know how to work a relationship a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? Say, for instance, you get a lady who says, oh, my ex used to do this for me. You should do that too. Or, you know, I'm used to being this way. I'm spoiled. You know, instead of saying, hey, look, I want to be able to be a willing, you know, person in this relationship too. I want to be able to give to you as much as you give to me. That's foreign to them. So what they do is they create these scenarios in which they can understand how to navigate the relationship the only way that they know how. Sometimes it's through subversion. Sometimes it's through manipulation. But in 9 times out of 10, if you ever listen to the story always ends the same. he either cheated or was abusive or whatever. And I'm always asking them, well, let me ask you this. What did you provide to the relationship? You told me about all these great things that this person, did for you, but what did you do for them? Did you water them as much as they watered you? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start asking questions like that, like, hey, what did you provide to the relationship? And 9 times out of 10, it's usually nothing. You know what I mean? And then what happens is the other person winds up being starved and say, hey, look, they don't want to be the bad guy to leave because this other person is already pre-programmed to let them know, hey, if you cheat on me, it's your fault automatically, and nobody wants to be the bad guy. So what happens is these people put on the victim costume and they work the relationship the only way they know how to work it, and that's through manipulation and subversion. Let's go on prototype.
So I just need some clarity. Are we talking about the actual victims or people that play victims?
Prototype, you've been listening to us this whole time.
I have been, but it seems like it's gone off in many different ways, right? So that's why I just wanted to kind of hone in on the answer. Am I answering victims?
If you're 18, it's always whatever your perspective is.
I know this, but I just wanted some clarity. That's all, because there's 2 ways to go about it, man. So I mean, like there's people that play victim, right? And those are the people in a relationship that say like, I'm gonna kill myself if you leave me. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that be like, when you break up, that's why I burnt you. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that who do something to you, and then when you be like, all right, I'm done with it, so you never love me anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's the people that play victim, right? And that's a whole nother psychological, disadvantage they have going on. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the actual victim, man. And I'm just not on the victim blaming train. You know what I mean? Like, blaming somebody for being compassionate, oh, you shouldn't have been that compassionate. You shouldn't have been that empathetic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should want to, if I love somebody, I should want to see things through with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I love somebody, I should want to try to save you. I can't blame the person for loving somebody and wanting to save a person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if your child was addicted to drugs, you would put them in rehab and try to, pay that ticket. I can't blame you for that, for being a good, humane person. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, like there's people that play victim and they're terrible people. But for the people who are trying to be good people, I'm not blaming them for you know what I'm saying? Oh, because they didn't have the foresight to see that, oh, this person is really trying to manipulate the best, the most out of you, because that's not where your heart's at. So I just, that's why I need a clarification on the answer, because I'm not going to blame somebody who's trying to be a good person true. You know what I'm saying? And be like, oh, well, you should have seen it anyway. You should have seen that coming.
I think it's good that you're trying to clarify, but I think it was good for you to be able to provide both of the scenarios that you're discussing, because in one instance, as you're saying, there are some people that would prefer to be the victim because in the end it makes them look like the better person, right? And then there are some people that didn't even see that they were about to be a victim and are trying to figure out how can they get out of the situation, knowing that this person has potentially changed. Like, there was not necessarily a red flag. And everybody's been in a relationship where this is not how you were. You know what I'm saying? When we was at the beginning stages, there was probably a red flag somewhere, but I may have missed it in the honeymoon phase, possibly, right? But then all of a sudden, you literally changed the game and how we are supposed to be going about things. So that person is like, now it's like, okay, so now you're trying to control me from a physical abusive standpoint to where I am a victim now, but it's like, okay, now how do I get out of the situation? Because there are situations, and I've been, not me personally, but I grew up in those situations where the person was in an abusive relationship, but couldn't figure out how to get out of it, especially with them having kids, right? So it would take a moment to get out of that. So that's a person that's didn't see it coming type of victim, right? But then you have the person, as y'all was describing, that is like, okay, woe is me. He ain't no good. She ain't no good. You know, if it had not been for XYZ, I would have had somebody different, right? It's one of those as y'all said, the victim mentality to say that I am not as good as I could be because as a result of you not allowing me to be what it is that I want to be, right? So that's a different level of victimhood. So I wanted to be able to allow people to see there are two sides of this victim part, and also for them to be able to identify if they are one of those, right? Because if you recognize that you are a victim, then you can begin to transition out of being that. And then if there's a person on the other side that says, oh, they're being a victim in the sense of manipulation, then let me get out of this situation. So yes, and I think Mr. Viral said as well, there are different levels to the victimhood or a toxic relationship. And so I wanted to kind of deep dive on both of them. And so I think y'all have done a really good job in that estimation. So as we transition, does anybody have anything to add to this particular topic thus far?
I think you did an excellent job describing both of them, because I think most times people are only aware of the victim that's advertised. You know what I'm saying? The true victim. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people are not aware of the chameleon victim. You know what I'm saying? And how can you tell the difference? So I think it was good that everybody gave their perspective, especially Prototype, because you still want to be sensitive to, you know, people's real needs in situations like that. So I commend them for that one.
I'll tell you what else too. I was thinking, man, I want to change my last answer to what a toxic relationship is. Like as y'all talking, I think the ultimate toxic relationship is somebody that has a victim mentality and somebody that has a hero complex. Because it's gonna be a constant like dog chasing its tail type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else, so the victim mindset gonna always, woe is me, I need this, I need this, I need that. Hero complex is, hey, whatever you need, I'm gonna put this cape on to try to solve it. But it's like pouring water in a cup with a hole in it. You're never gonna fill that void. And I think a lot of people have hero complexes, and that puts them in terrible situations. Their heart may be good, they may be genuine with the intentions, but some people are just lost causes. And I always say, like, even going into dating, going into relationships, like your job is maintenance, not construction. But a lot of us walk into this trying to fix something or build something from scratch. I'm not going to no car dealership paying full price for a Benz that I got to put together in my garage. No. When I pay my money and we agree to this transaction, I need you functional. I need you running. I need you operating at peak efficiency. But if you're not taking the time to do that, then that's not like, you're not going to do that on my watch. Again, I wish you the best in your journey, prayers and all of that, but I'm not fixing a damn thing. We are adults. And at some point, we got to start taking some accountability for how we showing up in these relationships. We need to show up whole instead of showing up in broken pieces and expecting that person to put us together. And as long as people approach relationships with that mindset, they're going to forever struggle. So that's just that. I was just thinking about that answer, man. Somebody with a hero complex, somebody with a victim mentality, that is the ultimate toxic relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's dope how you put that, because I just, if you look at it from that position, those two people in that relationship, they seem to be satisfying each other's need, but at the same time being detrimental to each other's growth. And this, what's crazy is that yesterday, I had put this, my wife, Kendra, shout out to her. She was the one that said I should have this topic. And not knowing that my pastor would be talking about it yesterday. I had sent this out, I don't know, Thursday or something. And our pastor started talking about toxic relationships. And one of the things that connected to what you're saying, Trill, is that people are coming into a relationship broken with the mindset of that the relationship is what's going to fix them. What he said was that God made us whole from the position that when he created Adam and Eve, they were whole individuals coming together to be in a relationship and then being able to start the journey. If you are coming into a relationship and you are not well mentally and spiritually or or physically from that matter, because we also need to be healthy individuals, what is going to happen is that there's going to be a slowdown in the productivity of your relationship because you're going to have to each one of you or one of you are going to have to spend more time in trying to help the other person get to the wholeness of which it is that they're needed to be. Now, when I'm saying wholeness, I'm not, because people are imperfect. I'm talking about me personally, because I don't know what Trill necessarily meant, but I'll give you my perspective on wholeness. Wholeness for me would be like you have a plan, you have an agenda, you know how to get to that plan, you are on the steps to get to that plan. You may even be in counseling, trying to work on your mental fortitude to get to where you need to be. You may be on the, this, you just started this new job, but you have a financial plan and how to get to your financial freedom. You know how to manage a household. If you're a woman, you have the mindset of, I am in pursuit of Christ. Even though I'm flawed, that is my pursuit. This is what it looks like for me, whether it's church, Bible study, whether it's in you have mentors, you have mentees and things of that nature. You know where you want to go and you have an idea of where you're going to be in a set amount of time. So you're blending these particular relationships together so that it takes less time to get to where you're trying to get to. I remember Trill was talking about, because this kind of speaks to that 50-50 mindset that some women have and some men have. If you both would just understand that if she's working and you're working, your financial growth potential is astronomical. And if there's an individual that says, that has the mindset of what you can do with money, y'all can literally become millionaires if that's so you desire within 3 to 5 years, right? So I'm saying that if you're talking about 50-50, that's crazy from a perspective of that you're just saying you're going to do half of something when both of y'all need to be whole to be able to make this relationship even work functionally. So I would say on the topic, if both of y'all coming in 50-50, y'all already creating a toxic relationship. Right. And if you're broken coming in thinking that your relationship is going to be fixed based on that, then you're already in a toxic relationship. So as we transition, I don't know if somebody has something to add, but I think most people said no. This is where I want to go. I want to be able to know where are these toxic people found? Right. We have described okay. Because somebody coming up with them and they getting into some relationships in order for there to be a such thing as a toxic relationship. So I'm interested in knowing where are these toxic people found? And hopefully, as we begin to get this answer, people that are listening, you can avoid these particular places, right? And don't say everywhere because that's obvious. Okay, give me a place. Okay, now I know Ash probably gonna say on the bus. So come with a different answer, Ash. Okay. We gonna start with we gonna start with we gonna start with you.
I was gonna go with hey, like Discover said, they everywhere you want to be. That's where I was gonna go. Okay. Okay, hold on. I don't like y'all tonight. I don't like y'all tonight. Y'all
No,
can
you just rocking and rolling. You
but okay, toxic people where they found. Wherever you're broken, wherever you're searching it. I'm gonna take it there. It's not a particular place, but it's where you're searching. Because I'll give you an example out of my own life. Went to HEB, mind you, I'm at work. I'm trying to get a little something for Thanksgiving because I'm trying to come home and cook real quick. Just put the final touch on Thanksgiving. I met what I assumed to be a nice gentleman. He wasn't dressed like no hooligan. He was dressed in nice attire, okay? But we later discovered after a couple weeks after that, baby, you got a communication problem. Like this grown man for some reason kept changing his telephone numbers. I said, you know what? Somebody going through a phone and he not supposed to be talking to me. Two, he careless with his phone. But you can always get a new phone, an actual phone, and not have to get a new number. That come from that good call center and working with the telephones. That's where it come from. And being an experienced parent with these kids breaking these phones, the number don't change, the phone change, right? So I said, you know what, let's back away from this. And I told him, I said, look, I can't deal with this. You changing your number too much. I don't know who's calling me. I'm just gonna go ahead and block all of this. Shut all this down. Because to me, it's not a particular place. I mean, I was at HEB minding my own business. I really was. But a nice man approached me instead of having that single woman, I'm a mother, that don't talk to me. I said, hey, and engage. But at the same time, it's like something wrong with some of you characters out here. And that's why I say they are found everywhere where you're broken. Because sometimes we don't want to pull back just because we want to give the person a fair chance. And I'm gonna leave it at that and let prototype over there say something.
Um, the most toxic people I found were the ones in my family. It's some motherfuckers I'm related to. Other than that, man, um, and they're only they're not allowed to be toxic, but they can only get to being toxic because I'm related to them. You know what I'm saying? Anybody on the street pool with your family pool on you, you would never deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you can even see that your family's toxic. Outside of that, man, toxic situations generally come from situations where you shouldn't be at, right? Anytime it's a pay for play kind of a situation. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too vulgar, but you understand what I'm talking about. Like if you buying all the dates and she not pitching in, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's a clear manipulative situation where you can see it's not 50-50, you know what I'm saying? Or even if people you hanging out with, you know what I mean, is you buy the drinks and then they don't get the next round type, it's selfishness type stuff. Like, you know what I mean? You can kind of see it. So man, toxic situations, toxic people come from clear, I guess to go back to Trill's point, right? Clear differential situations. And I forgot what he said. Maybe he'll clear it up later. But when there's an imbalance, I think he mentioned, like, you know what I'm saying? So when there's a clear imbalance, like, oh, this person is here and I'm here, you know what I'm saying? You probably want to stay clear of that. You know what I'm saying? You can find a toxic person there for sure. So yeah, we'll go with that. Let's go with Mr. Viral.
So you want like a certain place? I'm gonna say there is no place where toxic people are. I know most people want to say, oh, the club, oh, the bar, oh, here, oh, the strip club. But in reality, toxic people attract other toxic people because you attract what you put out into the universe. So whatever frequency you're vibrating on, that's what you're going to attract. So if you're on a toxic low vibration, those are the people you're going to encounter. This is why you'll see some people like, man, why do I keep encountering the same type of guys, these same broken guys? Or why do I keep encountering these same type of women? Because it's you. It's not the women. It's not the guys. It's you. There's millions and billions of people in the world, but yet you can't figure out why you attract the same prototype. Is you. It's the energy you're putting out. It's the frequency you're vibrating on. If you ever looked at like an experiment where they have the tools to make like the frequencies, it will not react until you hit the one that's on the same frequency. So if you put a ball on this one and you hit it and this is on a different frequency, the ball won't react. It won't react until it's on the same frequency. So that's why people encounter toxic people, because you're toxic. It's something about you that's toxic, which is why you keep attracting toxic people. So don't worry about the place. Worry about you. Fix you. Become more in tune with your inner self. Figure out what's broken in you, and you won't attract these people no more. Once you're vibrating on a higher frequency people will start to be will become a part of your reality. You'll start to attract these people. You start to meet these people. You start to bump into these people, no matter where you are. So is you. I'm gonna go with Jamie. Go ahead, talk to him.
I'm gonna give the answer of outside. You know, they are outside every. You said I couldn't say everything. I was just saying outside.
I got you.
I'm being honest, and I agree with everybody. I
So
agree
you
with Mr.
said,
Viral.
people just gonna avoid outside?
Just outside. You just got to go outside, right? Step out. You gonna find one. They out there. They're everywhere, and that's just literally. And I do agree with Mr. Viral. Like, if you're wanting to bring somebody in your space, you do need to be at a different level, right? But if we're honest, when we go to any location, you could go to Walmart, you could go to Target, you're gonna run into somebody that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you don't have to accept they're crazy because you just ran into them at the store, or you accept they're crazy and get to know them a little bit better and realize that you don't want that in your environment. They're outside. They're outside. You know what what I was thinking about when he asked this question? He asked, what is a toxic product? And we all listed things that were toxic to like ingest, but they actually cleaned up stuff, right? So like bleach does a wonderful job cleaning bacteria. It is everything when everything got hit the fan, everybody was like, what they looking for? Bleach. You know what I'm saying? And it did that. But if you inhale bleach, it's gonna kill you. You get what I'm saying? I always like to say is find the type of crazy that fits you. What type of crazy can you handle? Because everybody has something, right? And that's just the truth. Even no matter how much work you can do, you're never going to be a perfect person. And you're going to be toxic to somebody. You could be a straightforward person, and that's going to be toxic to somebody. They're not going to like that, right? So outside. I was toxic earlier at the beginning of this panel, right? So it's just what it is. It's just what it is. All right. So I'm gonna go with Lost in Translation.
I'm gonna go the exact opposite direction you went. I'm gonna say inside. Okay. I'm gonna give you an example. In the movie Avengers of Ultron, Ultron gave a speech and he said, everyone creates the thing they dread. Men of peace create engines of war. Invaders create Avengers, and people create smaller people. I think they call them children. You know what I'm saying? And I think what happens is we create the things we fear the most. You know what I'm saying? Because of our expectations. So what happens is we put our unjustified expectations on somebody, and when they don't meet them, then they become the enemy. They become the toxic person. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't do what we want them to do. But what happens is we created that monster in our own heads. That's the reason why certain people always run into this certain same type of person. You know what I'm saying? It's the very reason why people chose the bear in the woods over the man, is because in their mind, the men were the most dangerous animal versus the actual dadgum animal. You see what I'm saying? So it is the fear that we have in ourselves that actually creates the toxicity in our own relationships. That's where you find the toxic people inside ourselves.
I was thinking that I was going to ask, do y'all believe that everybody has toxic? Like, of course, there ain't gonna be nobody on the panel, but you ain't gonna have no choice. But the answer is, do you believe that you have toxic traits?
Absolutely.
Most definitely. I told you in the beginning. They said I was the toxic one. I was like, damn, you beat me to it.
So you agree? Okay.
I agree.
I think as a man, you need toxic traits. Like, you have to have toxic traits because women love toxic. They don't like nice guys. They don't like the good guy. If you don't have no toxic in you at all, it's bad for you out here. You're going to get done dirty by a female chasing a toxic man. So you're going to be the good man giving her the world. She's going to be like, fuck you for giving me the world. And she's going to go to the guy that's giving her a little bit of hell, because that little bit of hell is excitement. You got to be a little toxic out here. I'm sorry.
I would like to interject. I do not. I tried to give a nice guy a chance, and
Your voice say you lying. What you mean?
I tried to give a nice guy a chance, and guess what, baby?
You changed your voice, Ash.
Baby. All I can say is it was headache.
I tried to
like
tell.
some of these nice guys Those are the most toxic things because
What?
they're nice men.
What?
Baby, please. Some of these nice guys, they I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. I didn't. What was it? I'm not gonna put nobody out there. I'm just saying, brother had some issues, and yeah, like I said,
Ash,
what,
I'm going to interject and help me understand. You said viral is correct. Trill nodded his head yes, but you're telling me that
I
a
said
nice
some.
guy.
I said some. I didn't say all. I said some of these nice guys is a little toxic. Well,
Okay,
not little.
explain to me how the nice guy is toxic. You have just turned this page,
I
so
ain't turned no page. It's on the same page. It's just a fine print. Baby, some of them nice guys are toxic. And it's like what who I forgot who said it earlier. They try to do the Superman thing. Oh, Trill said it. They want to be the Superman. Then they want to come in. Oh yeah, I completely understand your emotions. Oh, this is man, that's so messed up. I want to be here for you. And then it's like, okay, you vanish. And then you come back, oh man, let me tell you what happened. Man, I had a kid. Man, she ain't doing right. Man, she acts just like you. But I wanted to be with her. It's like, okay, idiot. So what you over here for? Go back over there. Man, Ash, you cool, man. I can always count on you to be there and talk me through this. Like, dude, I don't know what's going on here, but you need to stop calling this phone. You finna get blocked in about 2.2 seconds.
so what made him a nice guy?
No, you didn't understand. The superhero, the wannabe, not the action. The talking of being the superhero. Because a lot of people love to say, oh yeah, I can do that for you. Where are you at? I mean, you're not looking for them to do anything because that's not their character. That's not their role in life, in your life. That's their role in somebody else. But everybody, some people, some nice guys, like to put on that Superman outfit and put it on knowing they ain't got the muscles or the strength for it. I'm just saying what I've encountered. I don't know how many other people can agree, but some of these nice guys, them screws is looser than mine. I ain't gonna even lie to you because I just be trying to understand like why would you go date somebody that's like me, but then come back to me to help you through? And I said I'm done. I'm out. Baby, hey, I get the cussing and everything. Hey, I'm out. I get that deep voice on. I get the angry woman syndrome going. This is not happening. I'm just saying.
I appreciate you so much.
And like I said, I'm not saying all nice guys are like this, but I have encountered. That's why I say I am toxic. There is some toxic things that I have been working on and trying to fix. But they out there, they exist. Like I said, they discover code everywhere you want to be and everywhere where you're broken. I stand by that.
Okay. So Jamie, you was gonna say something. What were you gonna say?
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just saying that reality is everybody
Wait. You do that every time.
I know. I said I wasn't gonna say anything, and then I had something to say. Right? Just say it. Just say it. Right? Just say it. All right. I don't have to just say it. Everybody's toxic. Everybody has toxic traits, and I'm gonna be honest. There's some things that I have toxic that I don't even want to let go. I kind of like it. I kind of like a little crazy. I like a little. My mom's foreign. I just kind of like a little saucy. Like a little sass in there. And so there's just certain things about me that I don't want to change, and that's just real. So I gotta find somebody that likes my type of crazy, and I'm okay with that. That's it.
That's why you made that statement.
Yeah, because I be trying to think like, should I not say that or should I say that? I just kind of overthink a lot.
Yeah, so there's a level of crazy that you have that you're looking for that dude that's like, I like that level of crazy.
Well, right, because my mom's foreign, what I'm saying? I come from a foreign background, and so, I may speak Spanish every now and then to you, and you might not like it because I might be upset when I do it, but I need somebody that thinks that that's cute. Like I need somebody to think that like like I don't know what she said to me, but I'm okay with that. Like I need you to be okay with that.
I got you. What you got, prototype is, do you believe that all of us are toxic?
I believe that toxic people create other toxic people, and they respond like when you're not toxic, but then you respond a certain way, like you keep running into toxic people, and then it creates you to be toxic. That's why I made the comment about arranged marriage in my sons, man, because I have pretty good sons, like wholesome, good gentlemen, sweet, like, you know what I'm saying? And putting them out into the dating market, yo, I don't want them to be assholes for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at this crossroads where, like, I either got to teach them to be a savage. I know too well what that's about. Or I could arrange marriage them, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully, like, oh, I raised my kid. I know another family that's raised their kids the level that I raised my kids, who we can all see each other as family and merge that. I'm at a weird crossroads right now. I've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, man. Is I don't want my sons to go through what I went through, like, you know what I'm saying, or to be the guy I had to become. Like, you know, I don't want that. So I don't know. I think it's I think people become toxic because they deal with toxicity. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's like all people are toxic coming out the gate. You know, I just,
not that they all are toxic, but they have a level of toxicity in them. That's what I'm asking.
I mean, like I think somebody pours the toxic into them, the toxic level into them. They deal with a situation and somebody pouring into, here's some toxicity, and then they deal with something else, and here's some more. So yeah, that's the level. The level is gauged by how much they've dealt with. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say it like that.
That's a bit. Trill, what you got?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you know, a certain level of toxicity is just necessary, man. And maybe not so much that people pour it in them, but I think people want to be successful. And a lot of times being successful in a multitude of aspects of life is gonna require that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like certain people who may grow up in rough environments. He might have grew up a good dude, you know, raised right. But then he go outside, and then for me to be successful out here, I gotta attract certain toxic traits. You know what I'm saying? Now this man who was once a straight A student done shot 3 people. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what was required. Same thing with dating. I think a lot of times our parents raise us with the best intentions. They give us dating advice based on ideal situations, or dating advice based on the 35 to 40-year-old person's purview. And then we go outside trying to use those tools and fall flat on our face, because that's not what's going to make you successful out there. Again, this shit is all leverage. All of it is, from the top of the relationship to the end of it. And unfortunately, just like bro said earlier, viral, women like that. They do. Because again, as a guy, I'm sure every guy on this panel has been the same way. Your mama gave you advice on how to handle women, right? Yeah, hey, you want to be a one woman man. You want to be considerate. You want to, prioritize her. You want to, like, not talk to nobody else when you're dealing with her. All these things that you go out there and try to be that perfect gentleman, and she look right over your ass for that athlete that got six girls, or that drug dealer in the neighborhood who pulling up in the whip or whatever, and he didn't hit 15 girls in the school or whatever. But he's that guy. She wants to feel that. She wants to taste that bit of excitement. And unfortunately, a lot of times, if you don't adapt, then you're gonna have to wait to catch that woman on the clearance rack after she done already been damaged, and she done already been kind of ran through and by these guys, toyed with and spit out. And now you get the opportunity to come in there and pick up the pieces. So it's either you adapt or you purchase her off of the clearance rack later on once she's been damaged. But that is the reality that a lot of us face. And we could tie it to a certain type of woman. Nah, it's all type of women. I know women who fathers is pastors, grew up in the church, but she still want that street dude. She still want that guy that's toxic, that guy that's not that available. That guy that got 3 or 4 different women. I got a little roster or whatever, and I do. And you still want to rock with me. So again, I think we all do. And unfortunately, it's necessary for you to be successful out here, or it's gonna be rough for you, bro. Straight up.
Wow. Is there anybody that wanted to say something that hasn't said something about this? Go ahead,
I want to go, man. Most of the times we don't want to be toxic, but we still want to be able to draw from the toxic well when we need to, especially when we're enforcing boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people will try to use you if you don't set up a boundary. And sometimes you have to draw from that toxicity and say, hey, look, I'm not cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you why. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you gotta be able to do that. Because people will try to use you. But the thing about it is, like I said earlier, man, we create the things we feel the most. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason why I walk with a swag. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody handed my heart to me a long time ago. And you know what? I appreciate it too, because I'm a better man for it. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of guys reach deep down inside and say, yeah, I appreciate a little bit of that toxicity. You know what I mean? But never again. And I think a lot of guys draw from that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes some women draw from that too. That's the reason why that independent don't need no man come from, because somebody mistreated her, you know? And that's where that comes from. So sometimes that toxicity is there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's there to protect you, to keep from, creating a cycle, the Superman complex. You know what I'm saying? Superman, provides a savior to the ones who need to be saved. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes those saviors need somebody to provide somebody to save them. You see what I'm saying? So it's a never ending cycle, but sometimes, you got to be like, hey, look, I'm tired of saving you. I'm going to teach you how to be a superhero so you can save yourself. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the superhero need to put down his cape and be like, hey, look, you don't have to save the world all the time. Sometimes somebody need to save you from yourself. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times that toxicity comes in handy. But for the most part, we really don't want to do that. But sometimes people push our buttons. And I think that's where we draw from the well from time to time.
That's what's up. That's good. This is going to be the last question. Let's see. The question that I wanted to know, since basically y'all saying that everybody has a level of toxicity, except Prototype is saying to some degree there may be. So with that being said, let's see, what is it? How can toxic relationships be redeemed? How can a toxic relationship be redeemed? Who want to go first?
I don't think it is no redeeming. I mean, the only way to redeem it is for that person, whoever the toxic person is to fix themselves. That's literally the only way. Like you can't fix a toxic relationship and the person still has the toxic trait that is ruining the relationship. The person has to fix themselves. Like the relationship is never going to be repaired. It doesn't matter how much therapy sessions you go to, how much talking you do, how much writing in your journal you do. If you don't dig deep within and fix yourself as a person, it's just going to be the same thing over and over. Rinse, cycle, repeat. So the only way to redeem a toxic relationship is for the toxic person to fix themselves. And it depends on what level of toxic you went to, because some lines that get crossed, it ain't no crossing back. I don't give a fuck how much therapy you went to, how much forgiveness you got. Yeah, I forgive you, but take your ass over there. This shit over with. It ain't no coming back. So it really depends, because I'm a firm believer in everything can't be repaired. I don't give a damn what society tell you. Oh, forgive them for yourself. Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna forgive them from over here across the street. Take your ass over there somewhere. So it really just depends. But to sum it all up, fix yourself. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to fix them. Don't try to fix your partner. Your partner has to go on that journey themselves. You know what I'm saying? You be the best person you can be, and they be the best person that they can be, and then the relationship will be the best that it can be. But if you're spending all your time trying to repair this broken person, now you're taking away from yourself. You're tearing yourself down in the process, and the relationship is already fucked up. So now you had one fucked up person, and now you got two, and the relationship is just turmoil. So fix yourself, people. Be the best person that you can possibly be, mind, body, and soul.
That's a bit. Go, Trey. I saw you.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say distance is the only way that could be redeemed. Just like bro said, I can't rehab off drugs living in a dope house. It's impossible. You know what I'm saying? You got all the willpower in the world, but that has left a mark on me, or that has a new hold on me now, and it's gonna take distance and time a lot of times. But during that time, the toxic people or whatever doing the work that's necessary for them to no longer be toxic. But if they're in that relationship, the way that relationship starts 9 times out of 10 is going to be the way it ends. That's how I always see it. In terms of like what we done brought to it, our mindset. Because again, like once I have you pegged, or once I put you in a certain box in my head, it's damn near impossible for me to see you another way. Meaning that if you came into this thing insecure, or you came into this thing broken, or you came into this thing letting me have my way or do whatever it is that I want, I'm not going to just all of a sudden snap a finger and now I see each other as equal, or I see each other as like we got the same amount of leverage, or I have a newfound respect for you based on no. I'm always keep you in that box until some time and some distance comes in between, and now I'm doing work or whatever, and now I see you elevating. Now it's just like, okay, yeah, this person is different than who I used to be with, but you can't elevate if we still within the same relationship. So yeah, that's my answer, man. Distance and time is the only way that it can be redeemed, if it can be redeemed. Because a lot of times you get a distance of time, y'all get back together and the shit crash and burn again because it just wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. Lost. I see you. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I like what Mr. Viral said. He said that self-awareness is key. You know, so you got to know you're messing up. You know what I'm saying? You got to know that the other person's messing up. I like what Trill said. Trill said sometimes you need to have a little space, a little distance. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that you know, find out who you are again, because sometimes people will gaslight you and having you thinking you the one crazy. You know what I'm saying? My thing is this: conflict resolution, especially when you come back together, man. Making sure that you guys handle crucial situations with a mindset to resolve the issue and not to win arguments or demean one another. You know what I'm saying? You ever get into a situation with somebody and you say, hey, look, here's my problem. And all of a sudden they take it and twist it and flip it and reverse it. You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, I got a problem with you. Well, I got a problem with you too. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them addressing exactly what you got on the table, they take it, redirect it and deflect it, you know what I'm saying? And turn it into something that you're supposed to be doing. That doesn't create an atmosphere for trust. You know what I'm saying? Because if every time I bring up something, you bring up something that I did, then we never really get resolved what I need to have resolved first. You see what I'm saying? So that means that lets me know that you're not really eager to help in this particular situation or you want to resolve it. So I would say conflict resolution skills is one of those things that we really need to work on, and stop looking to push the blame or name call or demean the other person when it comes down to it.
That's what's up. Did anybody want to add to this? Ladies.
Okay, I said walk away. Just give up on it. Don't do it. Because and this is from personal experience, what I found is what you know or what you learn, you can come back and use that to hurt. And that's a part of being toxic. You know, because some people will walk away from you after they done hurt you and they done gave you some time. They see you done elevated, you done healed a little bit, you done grew, you done did whatever transformation that they feel that you've done. They come back in with a old playbook and pull out some plays that you thought was healed or you thought you could move forward from, and use that same play and put you right back where you was. Like Trill said, back in that box. Like it's hard to, and I'm gonna say this from being a single parent, it's hard to get out of a box. And once somebody's hurt you and you have not really done the work to heal, you can't move on with that person. That's why I say just walk away from it. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna always question that person motive. And a lot of people don't talk about those questions that come in hand. It's not that the person may be doing everything right, but you're going to have a question mark in the back of your mind, and you're gonna look at that person funny. So to me, it's not worth trying to redeem. You need to walk away. Go build with somebody else. Go start fresh with somebody else. Just take the relationship as it was. Don't relive nothing, because at the end of the day, if they wanted you at that time, the way I look at it now, because like I said, I grew about two centimeters, not that much. But the way I look at it now, if they wanted you then, they would have did everything possible then to try to work it to keep it better. Try to at least be accommodating. Because sometimes people only want you when they think you're better. Then they want to come enjoy the ride. No, you can't get on the ride. You should have been on the ride when we was doing maintenance. You can't come over here with that. You can't get that.
Jamie, what you got? Oh, Prototype, go ahead. I see you.
So I got some homeboys that's trying to redeem their relationship. Toxic ass dudes. But you know what I'm saying? But in them trying to redeem the relationship, man, like I said, toxic people pour into that person that's not toxic, their toxicity. And after you come to your peace and like, oh, I don't want to be toxic anymore and I just want to make things right. Now that person you poured that toxicity into, they're getting you back. It's all payback now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, it's all well and good that you didn't have to change your heart and you done did this and did this, but it's my turn now. So now's the redemption process of trying to, now you got to take the medicine that you dished out. And it's coming back differently because just because you're toxic into another person, it's still going to come out a different way because that person is going to resemble it however they resemble it. And that's just how women are a mirror. You know what I'm saying? So you did this to her and that to her, and now you're over this. And now you just want your family back. You just want to do good and right by your family. But she's like, no. Wait 1 second, brother. You remember that one time? Oh yeah, now I got to step out. Remember you didn't come home? You didn't come home? Now I'm not coming home. You know what I'm saying? And now it's hurting you more because you're like, I'm trying to do what's right for the family. And they're like, oh, well and good, but it's my turn. So redemption's a hell of a process, man. If it can be redeemed, maybe. You know what I mean? Good luck. If you could take it out like you gave it, then maybe. But I mean, is the best thing for you to do is heal and walk away? Probably. That's the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? But when you're a man who, let's keep it 100, because the only thing you stand for is your family, your legacy, right? You probably done got this chick pregnant or whatever. So now you're trying to get this together, and you're going through you're willing to go through some punishment. You understand it. So you're doing it for the kids, but we all know doing it for the kids ain't the right way to do it. You know what I mean? So is it redeemable? I haven't really seen it done. I've seen the effort put into it, but I really haven't seen it done. So I'm not gonna say never, but I don't know.
All right. We have to talk about your statement at another time. What you said, prototype. Jamie, what you got?
I'm gonna just say, like, prototype. I've never really seen it done. Like, I've heard people say that they been through it and they came out better friends after the conflict, and I would hope that. But I'll give a friendship situation. I had a friend do me dirty, right? And I block people, so she had to find a way to contact me. So she called me, and she was like, "Don't hang up." I'm sorry, but she was like, "Can we meet? Can we talk?" So what I did, I was like, "All right, cool, we can talk." So I wrote down everything. I wrote down from the point where I could see the friendship changed, right? And I was like, okay, well, maybe I did this, maybe she did this, whatever. So we sat down, and literally everything I wrote down in this notebook, she confirmed, right? So she even told me where she switched up on me, okay? So I was like, all right, we could start fresh, right? She apologized. I'm thinking we on the same page, and we not friends now. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't even a month later, she put me in a situation where I was like, like, this was not a situation that you put somebody in. Like, what you just did was not okay. You told me that these people don't like me, and then I get invited somewhere, and these very same people that don't like me are right at the table with me. You get what I'm saying? So that was a hard situation to grasp, is that sometimes people do come back, like Ash said, just to finish you off in a little bit. Like, they were just like, I wasn't quite done with hurting you. You know what I'm saying? You look like you're doing good, and I just want to see why you're doing so good. You know what I'm saying? And that's, so I've never seen it. I don't know if a toxic relationship can be redeemed. I always say this: if God don't come to me in my dreams and tell me to be your friend again, it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
I just want to point out,
the Lord got to come down.
I just want to point out, both the women on the panel immediately said to quit. Now, when you look at relationships today, women file 80% of the divorces, 90% when they're educated. Most of the problems in relationships can be hashed out if the adults would sit down like adults and really talk about what the issues are and work on them. But women have this delusion today that their options are unlimited, so they're unwilling to, take accountability, and unwilling to work on things, it seems like. And just two women on the panel low-key confirmed it, like, oh, first sign of toxic, I'm out of here. Or first problem, I'm out of here.
I didn't say that.
It's like, damn, you ain't even gonna give it time to talk. Like, hey, this might be a misunderstanding. Before I block you, This is how I feel. How do
Jay.
you feel?
No,
Oh, well, damn,
I didn't say
Hey,
that. But I didn't say that.
Tend to run away from their problems, where men typically we like to address them head on. Like, hey, there might be some type of misunderstanding going on here.
Go ahead,
No.
Jay.
I'm here.
I'm sorry. I never said that I didn't give her a chance. There were several chances given, right? And so when I said the relationship was done, it's done. You crossed me 1, twice, 3, 4 times, maybe even 5, right? And did me dirty. And so even me saying yes to the conversation, that's why I came with the notebook. I came with conflict resolution. Like, okay, well, we could really move forward with this. And then you put me in a situation with people that you told me at the conflict resolution that we had don't like me, right? And so what does that tell me? That tells me that you don't value me as a person. Like, you would put me in danger, and you don't have my back. And so if a man does that, if a man, okay, we'll say, for instance, is a relationship and he's cheating on you, he's putting your life in danger. He's putting your life in danger and his life in danger. He don't respect you, and he doesn't respect himself, right? So why would I stay?
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what's cheating though. I want the depth. Like, what's cheating? What are we talking about?
Like, if he has sex, we'll say if he has intercourse with somebody, we're gonna like if he does that.
What man on this planet ain't gonna do that at some point? What? That's nothing to leave. That's nothing to leave your relationship for. If you got a good man, take care of home, taking care of kids, providing. Where are you going?
I am taking it back.
You're gonna leave the good guy. Look,
like,
you're gonna leave the good guy who would lay his life down on the line for you to go be single and jump in another man's roster who's doing the same thing anyway, except he fucking more women than the man you had.
You know what?
What sister?
That's why I said the fear of the Lord. Because if you don't got the fear of the Lord, then you're gonna be out here being a ho, just giving out donations to everybody. But if you know that God is gonna get you for being a hoe, and your life is gonna be leading to destruction, then you are responsible to the Lord. And you won't cheat because of me. You'll just not cheat because you're scared of God. The fear of the Lord. You're not scared of God. That's why you did this like this.
No, I'm saying in the Bible, men had multiple wives. Matter of fact, all the men in the Bible who had multiple wives,
and that's fine that you say that, but they all led their lives.
They fell out of favor with God.
Every last one of them were led to destruction. Every last one of them did not die a good life. So because they could not control their loins, their legacy at the end of it was, oh, he was a murderer. He's murdered his homeboys to get with the wife. Oh, he was a whore. You get what I'm saying? And you can listen to what he said. He's at the end of his life, he tells you don't do it because he lost favor with God. He could have lived longer, but because he could not control his loins, he lost everything. So I'm going to say it again. They did not fear God after a while. When you have multiple women and multiple women and multiple women, you are serving other gods. You are living in polygamy. That's a form of polygamy. That's your problem. Close your legs. You know what I'm saying? Hold yourself together. You know what I'm saying? And don't do that. That's why I say
monogamy is not natural, right? God created
it's natural. It's natural if you want it to be. If you want it to be, if you're scared of God, if you're scared, I want you to be scared of God. I'm scared because out here the streets is scary.
God told us to be fruitful and spread our seeds. Why would I be afraid?
Not spread diseases though, not STDs, and that's what's happening. Ain't nobody spreading no seeds; they spreading STDs, and I don't got that to do.
That's what they made condoms for. I don't got that to do in Jesus' name. No, sir. 99.9.
It's not safe out here. You gotta have a good fear of the Lord. If you don't know him, that's fine. But if you don't, you're putting yourself out here to die. It says the wages of sin are death. That means you are leading yourself straight to death.
Okay, let me ask you this, Jamie. I don't want to take over the panel. I just want to ask you this. Why do y'all only care about everything you preaching? Y'all only care about this once y'all get the title of wifey or girlfriend. When you're casually dating and you know he has a roster for a fact, you don't give a damn because you don't have the title and you don't have the ego of, oh, I'm his woman and I better be his only woman. When y'all are casually dating and having casual sex and going on dates and whatnot, you don't care who else he talking to until you get the title. Then y'all get the title and the ego kick in and now, you better be monogamous. I wasn't monogamous for the first 6 months. We were casually dating.
I can't speak on that.
You
I
want
can't
to be a
speak.
polygamist.
No, sir. I can't speak on that. There's not been a dude that I hadn't dated that hadn't shut down the operation before even asking me to be with them. And that's real. No, I'm not lying. And I
He
thought
told
that
you what
wasn't
you wanted to
true
hear.
until I went through the messages and saw him cutting people off before he even asked me out. And that's real. So, I'm not saying that he didn't do it afterwards or before, but there was a level of respect prior to where he knew, like, oh, I'm not gonna play with her, and that's just have to be what it is. But I don't know why women. I don't find it appealing when a man has a bunch of women because that's drama, and drama stops my money. Because what I do, I would have problems with that type of situation. I do hair, and if my man is a hoe, usually these women are going to find a way to book an appointment with me and I wouldn't know, right? So I could be styling the woman who he's cheating on me with. You get what I'm saying? So like that puts me in a bad position. Like
That's ego.
that's real.
That
And
sounds like
so
ego.
I wouldn't, I'm not okay with that. I'm with a man who is whole within himself and doesn't have to lay up with a whole bunch of women or talk to a whole bunch of women. If you got that much time on your hands, what are you doing? What goals do you have anyways? Why are you able to text all these females in the first place? I don't even do that. I don't got time to talk to you. I want to be able to be financially stable. I want legacy. I want land. I want things. And that does not concise with me or coexist with me being like this all the time. That's too much.
You know,
That's
the
too
men
much.
who are the most financially stable and who have land and all of this have the most options. They have the most women. They have the
They got
most
too much
time for
time on their
women.
hands. I'm not.
Are you not looking at society like
Let me do
reality?
this real
Not
quick.
what the
Let me do
story.
this real quick, Jamie.
I am
and
looking
Byron.
at it. Society.
Go ahead, humble God.
Check this out. Check this out. What is going on is that y'all are missing each other to a degree, right? Like Jamie did literally say about the situation as far as the relationship with the she did say that she gave her an opportunity. Matter of fact, she came to the table to reconcile. Trill, he was the one, he's not a woman, but he did say walk away. So it wasn't just the women that said walk away. Am I right, Trill? Didn't you say? Right. So I think you already had a preconceived idea of what that was going to be said because Trill and Ash said walk away, while Jamie gave a literal example of her trying to reconcile, which is what Lost in Translation said to do, which was to reconcile. Right. So I think that was a part of that conversation. And also I think it's important for people not to get the Bible misconstrued. I think most people that talk about it don't really study it. You know what I'm saying? They may say what they think it is, but they're not studying it. I mean, when Jamie said, as it relates to the destruction of mankind, I mean, if you talk about David, his heart was after God, but he had a repentant heart, is what that particular scripture was talking about. But if you look at what happened in his family, there was total chaos. I mean, his son assaulted his own sister. Then his own son killed his other son. Then his same son wanted to X him out. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of destruction in that situation as a result of him literally trying to cover up him committing adultery, if you will, even though he had concubines, because at that time in the Bible, their culture was that, and it typically was only men that could do it resourcefully. So that's not the confines of where we live in the United States. Now, if you want to have that opportunity, then you would have to assign yourself to a different demographics in the world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. So nevertheless, this has been real. This has been dope. I think, because I always like to get y'all out, but I want y'all to also be able to have y'all conversation. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to come to a rescue or anything like that. What I was trying to do is bring clarity to both parties. Make sure you check out Trill. Tell us where they can find you, bro.
Oh man, Cruise Season, man, everywhere. That's KREWSEA SON. Also tonight's conversation podcast. For everybody in Philly, we're gonna be at the Roost Picnic this weekend, going crazy. So make sure y'all tap into that. Come check us out, and yeah, man, I appreciate everybody. Me personally, D-Trill AC on Instagram and Twitter. Those two is where I'll be at. But yeah, as far as the content, man, crew season everywhere. Appreciate you, bro. Love always. You know that.
Absolutely, bro. Hey, don't forget to with Trill, don't y'all have the app as well? Or is that still rocking?
Yeah, for sure. Crew season app, man. It's everywhere. Apple, Android, Fire Stick TV, Apple TV, Roku, anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all tap into that for all exclusive content, all of the pods, all the Battle of the Sexes, which we about to get started back doing again. And live streams. We'll be back soon. So make sure y'all tap in, man.
That's a bet. Lost on you.
You can find me here on YouTube, Lost in Translation Podcast, also on TikTok. Thank you for my TikTok folks who follow me over the night. Also on Instagram as well, too. And don't follow me on Facebook. You leave me alone. That's the only place I can rest. So y'all come hang out with me on YouTube. Thank you, Humble Dad.
Absolutely. Prototype on you.
Man, you can find us Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Prototype Kingdom, man. We got some good content over there, man. Check us out.
Ash.
You can find me on Instagram, IG 360.diva, where I do the most cooking. That is cooking, because that's all I'm gonna do now.
Mr. Viral.
Y'all can find me on YouTube at the Viral Way Podcast. You can find us on Instagram. I put the Instagram right there under my name, at the Viral Way Podcast. It has my personal Instagram and the crew's personal Instagram on there. But yeah, best podcast in the world, bar none. Make sure y'all tap in. We going viral the Viral Way, man. The villain.
Appreciate you being here. Jamie, on you.
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Jamie Radiance Moorhead, because I'm your favorite Christian life coach. And that's it.
That's what's up. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.
Outside of that, same thing. If we agree to do this thing, part of that is both of us taking what comes with it. This idea of who does it first and this one has more, like, I don't subscribe to that, man. That story.
Hold on, real quick. So when you talk to your kids,
when I talk to my kids,
is both their fault?
I talk to them as individuals and I say, here's your fault and here's your fault. Here's how both of y'all.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. Yep. What's up? It's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. Got a great show for you this evening for sure. How do I know? Because I said so. And we always do. I mean, we bring the I guess solutions, unlike some places, but that's okay. Because we're doing our part in trying to, I would say, build healthy relationships and marriages, and making sure that we give enough energy to men and women alike. For those that don't know that we do that, sometimes we just stick to one particular gender at a time. Sometimes we do both. But whatever I see that needs to be talked about, I try to go that way. Right? And if you have suggestions, you're always welcome to email me at humbledad78@gmail.com. And so as we start the show, the first question that we're going to have is a get to know you question. And that is, what is your best dish? So if you cook, or if your significant other cooks, hopefully you have a best dish. Just give me one. I know some of my people like to give me 2 and 3, but just give me one dish that's your best dish. And we're going to start with none other than Mr. Prototype. What's You're on mute, bro.
What's happening?
I'm good. You set? Have you got your stuff together over there?
Oh yeah. I'm all set now.
That's
for sure.
What's your best? You need to turn up your mic a little bit.
Turn it up.
Just a little bit.
Turn me up.
It may be me. Let me see.
It might be you. I got everything set up.
Oh yeah, that's good. It was me.
My best dish is probably the mac and chisel. You know what I mean? Like, I've been handed the baton to always provide the mac and cheese for the family holidays. So I'll keep it simple and say the mac and cheese.
Like, what's the brand?
What?
What brand do you use?
Cat Fancher's brand, Prototype's brand. Like, I ain't telling you the ingredients. What are you talking about? What you talking about?
Oh, you saying it's like that?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Listen, mac and cheese sound like just Kraft.
Nah, bro.
It's better. It's better than that. Okay, cool.
Is it better? It's better than that? Come on, man. Don't do me like that.
I don't know. I'm just asking, my dude. We'll talk about it. Hey, appreciate you being here. I see you already on one. We're going to get it started. Hey, welcome to the stage. None other than Miss Bedazzle in the building. Jamie, you ready? That's what I like. Off guard.
You did catch me off guard. I would say my best dish. I've been thinking really hard about this situation here.
It's not even a situation.
Like, is it like a whole meal or just like a thing?
Listen. This one I'm gonna make a shirt, right? It's gonna say thinking, and then it's gonna have the word over. You know what I'm saying?
I got a sweater that says it.
I'm sure. Oh, okay. What is your best dish?
I would say the best meal dish that I make is like a grilled fish with like grilled shrimp and like the sauce that I make and rice and all that type of stuff. But can I be real? I've never seen a not empty plate. And so like that's scraping because there's nothing left on there. So every dish I make is good. I'm just gas myself up because I've never seen a not empty plate. That's what I'm going to say. That's the answer you're going to get. So
every dish is your best dish, is what you say.
Yeah, because I said so. See? Like that.
So, hey, welcome back again. Hey, we're going to shout out to none other than Mr. Jay-Z. And with the questions, always trying to take over as the moderator. Okay? Let's see how you do.
Come on, man. No, my best dish is chicken Alfredo. Now, I make the Alfredo sauce from scratch. And I'm telling you, they like the store bought better. So I cheat with the sauces now. But preparing the meat and all of those, everything that goes along in it, that's my best dish.
That's what's up. Appreciate you for being here, homie.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's humbling this week.
For sure. And none other than the one that everybody enjoys hearing her perspective. Miss Taking in the building.
I would say mine is pan-seared salmon with sun-dried tomato cream sauce.
What? Say it again.
Is pan-seared salmon with sun-dried tomato cream sauce.
That's
I love sun-dried. Anything with sun-dried tomatoes in it, I love. So that's one of my favorite dishes.
That's what's up. Appreciate you for being here, Miss Taken.
Thank you.
Listen, if y'all haven't seen the show where me and Miss Taken talk kind of through the scripture, y'all should go check that one out. That was a really good conversation for sure. She made me think a lot. And I appreciate that. I don't know why you laughing, Jay Zilla. You don't think I be thinking?
No, man. I love your humbleness. Going on someone else's platform and being willing to think a little bit.
The sarcasm.
No, I'm taking notes.
Oh, okay, that's a bit. Hey, none other than the Bear White of these YouTube streets. My dude, Lost in Translation.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Listen, my favorite dish I had to get confiscated from my mama. My mama makes the best banana pudding you have ever put in your mouth. I had to have a conversation with her a while back. I said, before you leave this earth, you must show me how you make the banana pudding. So it took me a while to figure it out, but once I did, I said, Mama, the recipe is now in good hands. You know what I'm saying? So the banana pudding is what I pull out if I want to impress. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. So how often do you make it in a year, would you say?
Maybe about 4 times. You know what I'm saying? I always say life is short, man. Eat dessert first. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy yourself. That's right. Enjoy yourself.
Huh. I want to see how my wife go with that. We're going to eat dessert first, babe.
Yeah.
She might go for that. I would say for me, well, appreciate you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
My favorite is this pork chop that my wife made when we first started dating. It was incredible. It was like this, I don't know, it had to be like 12 ounces or something like that. And she had some gravy and everything with it, right? That's probably my favorite dish. But as far as my best dish that I made is like my grilled wings, I would say. You know, it all starts with the seasoning, you know, and I do a couple different seasoning depending on the day. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I get down. And matter of fact, my wife taught me how to grill. And so shout out to Miss Kendra. Then I just took it up a notch. And so my kids like to eat my food now. You dig? All right, here we go, man. We're gonna start it off like this. He's starting already in the back chat. He's the back chat guru. All right, so we're gonna look at it. We're gonna start like this. I think I had a video that I wanted to start with first, and then y'all can respond to it. All right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hearing it. I'm taking it. I'm growing, and I'm different. Bing. Okay. New me.
I'll play it again.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hearing it. I'm taking it. I'm growing, and I'm different. Bing. Okay. New me.
Hey, go ahead, Jay Zilla. What you got?
Man, I wish it were that simple on both sides. I would love, that's one of my biggest things, like trying not to be misunderstood and trying to understand. Like, that's it. I wish it would be that simple. My goodness. Are we picking who goes next?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go with Miss Taken. Miss Taken and I had a conversation on the show. Appreciate you. So I want to hear from her.
I don't really know what to say about it.
Why is it funny?
Is it?
What made you laugh about it?
I think I would have to say that I think women do have a hard time taking criticism depending on how is given. So if she was able, like she said, she was listening. It was given in a correct manner in which she could listen and digest it. But it was hard. But I have no idea why it's like that though. I don't know. Like, because when I'm at work, no, I do this with my husband too. I was gonna say when I'm at work, I actually seek critique so I can improve. I will go to my boss directly and will ask, in what ways, do you feel that I can improve, or are you okay with my, work or whatever? But I do that with my husband at times too. But for some reason, because I guess I have a connection with my husband, it hits different than it does from a boss.
Mm-hmm.
So
hit different in the sense of like worse. What word would you use?
I know this sounds bad. I don't really, because I'm a hard worker at work. So it's not that I don't really care. I don't care. I don't have a emotional attachment to my boss, should I say.
Okay.
So I'll do my work, and I'm just the type of person that I try to give 100% at whatever I do. So his critique and feedback is not towards me personally, it's towards my work. Mm-hmm. Whereas with my husband, it's towards me personally. And so it hits a little different because, I want to be the perfect wife, which I know is not existent, but, just thinking that when he tells me, well, you're falling short in this, and he will, and I appreciate it because I do want to do better, but it does hit a little different because there's an emotional attachment there.
Okay.
Lost in translation.
Thank you, Ms. Taken. I was glad that I could follow you. Listen, what I gathered from that was she was taking it in, and I don't think she really focused on what was said. She was really focusing on herself, which begs me to believe, how come people can't separate the criticism from the person? You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
I want to free you ladies of something. We are always going to love you. Okay? Don't forget that. Sometimes the behavior needs a little adjusting. So remember, we're not critiquing you as the person. It's the behavior that needs to be adjusted. Remember that. So I'll let that, rest with you, because I think a lot of times women miss the opportunity to correct a particular behavior. But what they do is they internalize it and they make it seem as if they're the bad person, and they're not. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes people can't make the distinction. So I'm letting you know, men will still love you. We just need to correct the behavior a little bit. You see what I'm saying? Because you can always correct the behavior, and that's what us as men too. We don't want you to look at us as if we're bad people. Just say, hey, could you correct a few things? And yes, we'll address the behavior itself. We already know y'all ain't going nowhere. So that's the reason why we changed, because we love you. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Jamie this time.
I don't have anything to add. Seriously, I don't know what to say about what she did. I did find it funny, though. So it did tickle me.
You're going to have to expound upon why you were laughing hard, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, because it was just fake. She was like, I'm taking it, I'm understanding, and I'm growing. It was just fake. It was all it was just funny. I've experienced people doing that while talking to me. So that's why I thought it was funny, because I was like, you didn't hear nothing that I said, and I've done it too, or I was like, I heard you, but I didn't hear anything because I just didn't care, but I wanted you to think I did. You know what I'm saying? So Just keeping it real.
So what you're saying is you are believing that she was just saying it to pacify him. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
I'll go with prototype.
Did you need me to play
So,
again, Proto?
no, I mean you played it twice, and both times I was just like, I don't know what happened. But I mean, everybody kind of explained, the sentiment, so I guess I can answer to that. But
Okay.
no, that just happened to me today. One of the parents wanted to fight me today out there on the baseball field. Like, and he came ready, like. So as I was trying to have a conversation with it, he was not listening. He was like, "You don't talk to my wife like that." He was hot. But no, I understand. Like, no, I mean Christians do it all the time. You know what I mean? With the I've changed right now, so it's possible. It's possible. I mean, she was condescending in it, but it's possible to change it right now. I kind of hate that, like, ooh, okay, like, oh, you're just right all the time. That's kind of what she did, but
Yeah. I would say that the reason why, because I've been holding on to that clip for probably 2 months now, just trying to see when would be a good time to show it, right? And when I saw it, I did laugh pretty hard because she's kind of trying to figure out, in my estimation, who should she be bothered at, right? Should she be bothered at him for saying it, or should she be bothered at herself for not being able to accept the criticism? So
what did he say?
It didn't say what he said. It just responds like, okay, my husband just gave me a critique or a criticism. And so what I'm doing now is trying to receive it, but I'm having a hard time receiving it. Right. And so that's the what kind of Jamie was trying to say. What you want to say, Jamie? Oh, okay. I thought you were about to come off mute. My bad.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think she was trying to process the information you had through her emotions or through her logic? And she was trying to figure out exactly which one she should use it through.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. Because that's you put it in the vernacular that would be helpful for the commoner, if you will, to a degree, right? Because if she's going through feeling, then she would have to say that it's on him. If she goes through that it's logic, then she would have to receive that it's on her. Because she just said it was a criticism, right? Yeah. And nothing's wrong with criticism. It's about how is it given sometimes. I'm going to agree with that mistake. It is sometimes how it's given and who is the person that's giving it to me, right? But it's her husband and she is trying to push down her flesh, let's say it like that. She's trying to push down her flesh in order for her to say, you know what, maybe what he's saying is right. So let me try to see if I can fix it. Or let me see if I can, do something productive with the information that's given, right? And I would say that has happened to me before where, my instant response was like, nah, you're wrong about that critique. I don't think that's correct at all, but then what I've learned is let me hear what the person's saying first. And if there is any truth that I can hear, maybe it may not be me thinking that they're right, but at least can I see it from your perspective? And so that's what I try to do now, is try to say, even with my wife, I try to say, you know what, I don't agree with what you said, but I can see how you saw what it is that I did to get you to that particular point. And so in that case, I would say I apologize for not communicating in that way and try to look to do it better next time. But I don't know if women do that as well. Maybe most of Miss Taken's friends, ain't that right, Miss Taken? Because all your friends, they're pretty good at taking critique. Cheap critique? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was quick.
It was. It was. Shout out.
That was smooth, humble.
Go ahead, yeah, Giselle.
No, I'm saying that was smooth, humble. I like that.
For sure. That's what they talk about. They try to hold people, they try to give their perspective and they critique individuals and situations. And they've been doing that pretty good, you know, for a while now. So shout out to them. So that's the start. So I wanted to transition. It's not going to be necessarily something that necessarily makes sense, but I wanted to ask this question because I just thought about this before we came on. Because women will talk about how there are no good men, and you saw the thumbnail with Vivica A. Fox, you know, being a catch, if you will, in her younger years. And now she is wanting, she said a partner. She didn't say a husband, for those that haven't seen it. She said she wanted a partner, somebody that'll let her shop or something like that. And something else she said, I can't remember, but I'm sure somebody.
Travel. She wanted to travel.
She wanted to travel and be able to spend the money, right? Something like that. And have a partner to do that, right? And we'll talk about that here shortly. But I want to talk about, why do women put men in friend zone? Why do women put men in the friend zone? Jay Zilla, you like that question?
I love it. I love it.
All right. Okay. Who went first last time? Was it Jay?
I feel like me.
Okay, you went first last time. Let's talk to Prototype, man. Why do women put men in the friend zone?
Because they're corny. I mean, they think they're corny, so they friend zone them. That's about it. I don't really know why else women put dudes in the friend zone, because that's probably their best option. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, they're probably the same reason guys put girls in the friend zone. You know what I mean? You know, maybe they're just not attracted to them. So, you know, it's that matter, right? I mean, that's why I friend zone a lot of, you know, female friends. Because we're cool and they just not my style.
Okay. Pretty simple. Who you got going next?
Let's go with Lost. Let's get to the, you know, let's get to the gravy right now.
Let's get to the business, man. That's right. Humble Dad, here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. Is it better to have more information or less information when it comes to a topic?
Oh, it's better to have more information.
Right. What happens is most times when women put guys in the friend zone is that they don't have enough information. You know what I'm saying? They don't quite know what to do with this particular person. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. They're trying to figure out, A, how do I look with this person? B, will this person really be who they say they're going to be? You know what I'm saying? Are they fronting? You know what I'm saying? Do they think that they can do what they say they're going to do? You know, or B, they probably have somebody else that they're waiting to do right. And they're putting the guy that's in the friend zone or the girl that's in the friend zone on layaway until the other person either shows up or bows out. So I usually think that's probably the main reason why most women put guys in the friend zones, because they don't have enough information to make an informed decision. And I'm going to go with Jay Zilla. Yeah.
Hey, man, I agree. To the man who's got that best recipe for some custard. I do think it's an evaluation thing. It's a tool where I can put something on, I won't say layaway, but I could sit it over here in the crock pot, set it, forget it, and, you know, break that glass open in case of an emergency. Do I need some sort of emotional support? Am I just feeling a little riled up physically? You know, I know this guy has been trying to be more than friends for a while. But yeah, I think it is a tactic used to gather more information, which, you know, I'm okay with.
You're okay with women putting men in the friend zone? That what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, if they feel their value is such that they need to put someone off to try to evaluate whether or not they are, you know, vibing right. If they're on the same frequency, do they have some of the similar goals, right? Sometimes people are very charming and very persuasive up front. right? And you try to make sure to weed out some of that narcissism by giving it time, because time is a narcissist's worst enemy. Because the longer you're around a person, the more you find out about them, whether they want you to find out about them or not. But yeah, I think it's okay. I think pretty much, biblically speaking, every guy should be in the friend zone until, right? So I don't know. I'm okay with it.
Till when?
Marriage, my friend, marriage.
Oh, okay. Friend zone until marriage.
Yeah.
That's an interesting statement. So how would a woman be able to determine if he's husband material, or how would he be able to find out if she's wifey material if he's friend zoned?
Right. That's the trick. I think actually finding out about whether or not you can be friends with a person, whether or not you can enjoy a person beyond just the physical or the surface level relationships, I think it's pretty easy to do. You can say with potential, right? But we go on dates and we can still do fun things together. I can still ask you serious questions and gauge your answers. But as far as how to find an actual mate, Christians kind of have it the easiest. Fruits of the Spirit, either you exhibit that or you don't, right? Everyone else is just kind of making up their own, setting their own value system. So hopefully it's well thought out and something that, can be replicated, but most likely it's not, unfortunately.
I think I'm gonna come back to that.
I think women also put guys in their friend zones because they got situations that they haven't cleared up yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like a guy that they know if they didn't have a boyfriend would probably be with this other dude, like they'll friend zoning. You know what I'm saying? But they not friends because he taking shots. They flirting for real. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's, is there friend zones or is there? I don't know what that is because I when you're flirting with your friend, is that a friend zone? Like I know a woman be like, "Oh, that's my friend," but he taking shots at you. He's like, "Yeah, I want blah blah blah. I would like to see that." You know what I'm saying? That's not friends. I don't. You know what I mean? Y'all cool. But he taking shots, like, so there's friends where like that's your homie. And I have female friends that like they're my absolute homie. But then there was women that I was friends with, but I was taking shots like, yo, hey, because I couldn't be friends with someone I'm attracted to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what that is when maybe it's a woman's way of being sneaky. Like, oh, it's just my friend. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Jay Zilla, which lady you got going first?
Man, I'm gonna go with It's Me, Jamie.
So Lost gave an answer that was right, and it was like the backup plan, if I'm not mistaken, is what you said. Backup plan. That's true. And then Prototype just said one that was right too, where it like for instance, say the girl is with a guy and he's not giving her adequate attention. And she has the guy that she put in the friend zone that she can talk to all the time, but know that it stays where that's at. So she gets the attention she needs while she's with the guy who is like playing the cat and mouse game with her. So I've seen that. I friend zoned a dude because he just felt like he had a whole lot going on and I needed to see if he did. And he did. He just had too much going on. And so it was best that we were not even friends now because he was just messy. He had a whole lot of females just around all the time. And I tried to be friends with him, like just be on a cool friend, like that type of situation. He would just draw me into, he would triangulate me with the women that he was trying to make do more. And they would think that, like, it was crazy. It was insane. So men do this little triangulation thing too sometimes. And so I've purposed in my heart really not to have male friends because I also don't want, and what I've had happen too with one guy I friend zoned, he went around telling people he was dating me behind my back. And so he was blocking me. And so a lot of times that would happen too. So friend zone is a selfish place that we put people that we don't necessarily want to be with, but we do like them around when we need validation and attention. That's what that is. And that's the honest answer. So let's go with mistaken.
Another thing to that is I would also say that it has to do with the friend zone is if I truly know you, I may know that you would be a great friend, but not necessarily a great person in a relationship. So there's different expectations in a relationship that I'm going to have of you versus the expectations I have of you as a friend. So there may be compatibility in terms of things, interests and stuff that we like, things like that. But at the end of the day, would you be able to give me what I need on a relationship basis? And if not, then you're going to be friend zone. We could be cool. We hang out, we talk, you give me, some, information on how I'm a bag this dude over here, like getting that male perspective on certain things, but not crossing over because I know we wouldn't be compatible.
So, okay. So this is interesting. So you're telling me that basically they sandbagging for all those that play spades.
Basically.
Saying that you have a certain group of guys that you think that would be that you're interested in, but it's this one over here that is intriguing. However, I'm not too sure if I can be attracted to him in a way that it would be long term. So I'm gonna just be friends with him.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Jamie was saying too. If you are a ladies' man, if you what they say, nobody wants community D. Like if you're that dude, you know what I'm saying? You may be cool, you're probably funny, you're probably got great personality, all of the things that I would probably like in a partner, but understanding that I know you're a ladies' man. So I'm not going to be compatible with you. So we'll stay friends and still kiki, haha, hang out, but it can't go any further than that because I'm not trying to be one of the other women on your roster.
I know. I mean, maybe it's a certain type of woman that you're talking about, mistaken, because what I gather is that most women like that their dude is wanted by other women.
That's right.
You don't mind other women being attracted to your dude, but you want to feel secure that they don't have access. You can like, but don't touch. So when you are known as the community D, that means that I don't have anything special. That means somebody else can access you as well. So women like that other women like their man, but they don't want other women having access to their man, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. I'm just saying that I don't think that's the majority of women.
No, she telling the truth.
I'm not saying she ain't telling the truth.
I was going to say mistaken, like it's not the majority of the women. Yeah, it's not the majority. I think that's probably the way we think, you know what I'm saying? But like, that's not the way people outside think. Like women, they are excited with the man that has a lot of women after them, or like that has that aloof nature and that they really are attracted to that. And I've seen it firsthand. Like I don't know if you've seen a clip of the lady that was knowingly a side piece. Like, I don't know if you've seen that, but she knows that this man is married, knows what she's into, and she is trying to figure out how she can get a married man to leave his wife, right? So that is the nature of a lot of women is, oh, if she can have him, why can't I have him too, right? or let me see how much does he really love her, and I'll put myself in the vicinity and see if he will talk to me, regardless if he's married or taken. And so yeah, I mean, I would have to say that there's not a lot of women that think like we do, as far as like, okay, I'm okay with my man being attractive, but I want to make sure that nobody has access to him. That no, like these women, they like community.
Right. Well, I'm not talking.
I don't think so.
You're talking about the side piece. You're talking about the side piece. I'm talking about the main chick. The main chick who's with him is not going to want other people to have access to her man. The side piece is the one that's trying to get her ego up, like, I'm gonna see if I could take him. Those are two different positions. Right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree with you with the side piece mindset, but the one that's in the relationship, believe you me, don't, because it's something that makes a man even extra sexy when
they're taken.
Right, but don't have access. Other women are even that much more attracted to them when they know that the guy appears to be faithful. But even for the wife or the main chick who's with him, that makes her feel even more secure and more attracted to him as well, to know that, look, he got a pick of all of these ladies. He chose me, and none of these other ladies can touch him. It's just something about that,
right,
that makes a woman be like,
I got you.
That's my Nick. You know what I'm saying?
My hero. Yeah, I got what you're saying. Why is Lost shaking his head? I feel like he has got a lot on his spirit right now.
Before Lost go, let me hear what Proto was going to say. Then we'll come back to Lost. Proto,
I was just going to say, like, I want to say Mistaken's right, where like they want the men untouchable, but they want a lot of women, but they can't control it. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, they want that, but they can't control it. Like, because once the man is desired like that, they don't understand what really comes with that. You know what I'm saying? So they want it, but it's just like a mystery. They can't get it. They can't control that kind of power, but they want to be able to.
So you're saying that the woman wants a man that is inaccessible only to her. However, there are things that come along with that they may not be ready for.
They just can't. Yeah, they can't harness that power. They don't know how to control the infinity stones like that.
Oh, you talking about the woman?
The woman, yeah. Like, they want a man that's desirable, but don't want him to be like outside. You know what I'm saying? But it's like they don't understand what really comes with that. Like, you know, it's an infinity stone that they just don't have the power to wield. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that the
hold on, Miss Taken. Jamie was gonna say something. Then I'm gonna come back to Law, and then I'll get to you. Just make sure you remember your thought. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think men understand that even a lesser attractive man becomes more attractive to women, or single women, when he's faithful to a woman. So like, I've seen it happen. I've seen where a man has not been very attractive. I'm being real. You laughing, but I'm dead serious. Because I've seen it happen where he's like been faithful, like he's loving on this woman, and then all of a sudden, people that have been curving him for years now is interested in him because he's showing a woman attention and love that they feel like they should have got because they curved him. I'm just being honest. So y'all go up a notch when in women's mind, when you get in a relationship and you're faithful. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just telling you, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it.
No, they were laughing at the part that you were talking about. The dude is not attractive, but he faithful.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He didn't have options. What you talking about? That's what.
But he don't got no options to be, but he do now, and that's and then
he has one. Unless he got money.
One. But
it
now
depends on
that
the woman that he's with, because women look at the other women that a guy has been with to determine what kind of dude he is. So that,
and they still friends on it, because that's what the topic is about. Y'all transition. Hey, get in here, Lost. What you got?
Let me clean this up, man. I'm finna tell the truth because y'all leaving stuff out, man. I ain't gonna call you no lie. I'm just gonna say you leaving stuff out. Listen, let me be honest with you. There are men that women are attracted to that they don't put them through no hoops. They just give it to them just like that. Then there are guys that are really not attracted to, and then they get this whole list. Well, if you get past all of this stuff, then I'll think about it. I mean, just let's be honest about it, man. Because think about it. Most women are attracted to the attractive guy. Let's be honest. You see what I'm saying? If the guy you think is attractive, other women's going to think he's attractive too. But the thing about it is his attractiveness is not what makes him attractive. His attractiveness that makes him attractive is your ego. And what I mean by this is that you don't care whether or not he sleeps with anybody else or not, as long as he appears to be faithful to you. Think about it. Y'all said that a man gets more attractive when he's faithful to another woman. Humble Dad, let me ask you a question. What does a faithful man look like if you just saw him in the streets? If you saw him at the grocery store, could you look at a man and tell if he's faithful or not?
I can only tell when it's a hooper. You know what I'm saying? I can tell if he's a hooper or not, but not
right.
if he's faithful.
Because he got the uniform on, right? Think about it. Think about it. You can't just look at a man and say he's faithful, you know, but you can look and see if he's well dressed, if he's well groomed. You can see what type of car he drives. You see what I'm saying? You can also tell by how he carries himself, how he thinks, how he talks, that type of thing. Those are the things that really make a man attractive. And women know this. They can case out how much money a man makes just by looking at his shoes and how well tailored his clothes are. Trust me, I've been around gators. I know how sharks work and operate in these waters. You see what I'm saying? They know how to look. That's the reason why they ask questions. They ask you, what do you do for a living? They've already calculated how much money you make. You see what I'm saying? And can you take care of a family or whatever? That's the basis of it all right there. Can you provide? And will you provide for me? You see what I'm saying? You think about it. Even rich women will sit up there and have multi-billion-dollar husbands, and they have these side arrangements, you know? As long as you don't make me look silly, you can have all the fun that you want, you know? Bill and Linda Gates had an arrangement for a long time, but nobody knew about it until the actual divorce happened. And then it came out. So, I mean, let's just be honest about this. You know what I'm saying? Women put men through hoops that they really don't like. And those are the guys that's in the friend zone. They're just there to supply what they can give them, which is attention and validation. Let's just be real. Because if you could have the guy that you really wanted, you wouldn't put him through the hoops because you'd be afraid that he may leave you, or I'll never get this type of high value guy, or whoever it is that you may like. I'm just being honest because I've lived a long time and I've heard women say these things and I've seen them do the exact opposite. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Come off mute, Jamie. Say it with your chest. Come on now.
I'm just agreeing with Lost because I said validation and attention. You know, like that's where they put them in the friend zone. I'm just agreeing with them. Now I don't have nothing bad to say because there's no lie to that.
And they want masculine attention without having to have pull down their drawers. That's what it seems like based on what y'all saying. Because
well, y'all got to understand that there has to be some level of attraction when you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? So if you're in the friend zone, then that means that there is something missing that I'm not attracted to. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just physical attraction, because women will end up with dudes that may not be physically attractive, but there's something about, like, you have been like around somebody for a long period of time and you really get to know them, and then you find yourself like, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to know who they are. So now that aspect of them becomes very attractive to you. So it depends on. So initially it'll be a physical attraction if it's going to be something like there, but you can end up friend zoning somebody and then get to know them, and then you become attracted to them about certain aspects. Like I know one time, but when I was, in high school, It was a guy that I dated, and I used to get so much slack about him because they would go to my best friend like, "Yo, what is wrong with her? Why is she dating him? Like, what is the problem?" Because like face wise, I wouldn't say that he was a 10. He wasn't, but he was just such a good dude, and that's what I was attracted to. He was very charismatic. He knew how to interact with other people. He, looked out for me, like that masculine wanting to take care of me, like that kind of stuff. So I was attracted to that. So I think that with women, we have the ability to find things outside of just looks that we're also attracted to as well.
Yeah, that's a fair statement, but he wasn't put in the friend zone. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
He was.
Initially,
He graduated.
Nobody graduates from the friend zone.
Nobody graduates.
I was mistaken.
Look, she said she was in high school though.
We all went to
don't
high
count,
school
really.
together, and I knew him in high school, and we were all friends. He
Oh.
graduated. I was still in high school. He came back, and then we, started talking more.
Because he graduated.
So he came because he was out of school. Now he's a college guy, and the status at that point. Bro.
Yeah, the status was attractive.
He literally graduated.
Yeah.
He
literally graduated, right?
And that's what the
Did he drive? He was driving,
tell the
right?
truth, man.
He had a car.
He had a car?
Yeah, he had a car.
Yeah, he had a car.
See there?
What's the problem?
Yeah, go on, tell the truth.
Come on, man.
Listen,
Humble Dad, what did I tell you earlier? She did not have enough information to make
he
a
didn't have
right.
enough information.
Exactly.
Graduated, had the car.
Trust me. That's what I'm saying. That's not a flex, because in high school, especially older men, like I didn't have to wait for him to go to high school to have status. Which is so scary and sad. But older men would hang out at the high school for the purpose of trying to bag high school girls. So
You know
if
why,
that
right?
was the case, I could have got with any one of them. They had cars, they had money, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't about that.
But I see the thing of it is though he didn't have that type of opportunity when he was in school though. He just made you more comfortable because you knew him, because he was still one of those guys that was outside of the school waiting on a young honey. It just so happened that you was the young honey that he knew.
That's not.
We had more of an opportunity to get with you because
if they were friends before and going to the same high school, and then he graduates, was this like? I mean, what was the gap looking like, Miss Taken?
About two years.
About 2 years.
2 year
yeah.
gap.
That's
I'm
10
about-
years in teen years.
So she a junior and he just graduated.
And he just graduated. That's like a 40-year-old man and a 30-year-old woman. For real.
So okay, I like this because I think we're getting back to the video in the beginning. It was that video, Humble Dad, was almost like a Rorschach test, right? And we each see different things. What is friend zone? It means something different to a lot of different people. That person was friend zone, and then something about him changed. Was it, oh, this feels kind of naughty. He's an adult now, right? I mean, who knows what it was, like whatever, but something in your mind changed for as far as status. So I agree with the gentleman on that. But I'm trying to figure out, are y'all saying like this ideal of men and women putting someone in friend zone, is that a bad thing?
Yes, to a degree, because you're wasting the guy's time.
Yeah,
Well, it's his fault. He shouldn't let his time get wasted.
Yeah, for sure.
But I see that differently. Like if a girl saying like,
let me thoroughly answer, and then I'll get your take, right? Because typically how men work when they allow themselves to go into the friend zone, right? Because I mean, we're saying she's putting him there, but it's obvious that he's allowing her to do that because what he's doing is staying in the cut, because he sees that there may be an opportunity to where he can then be out of the friend zone at some particular point, right? If you watch any of these episodes online, and you can see when the woman says he's just a friend. And I read an article, I think it was Psychology Today, where it's talking about that women see men friends differently than how that man as a friend sees her. She thinks that he's just there to be a friend, but he is attracted to her in some regard, right? We talking about certain type of dudes, most dudes, right? They're there just to be in the cut, so that when they have an opportunity, or she wants to cry on the shoulder, so that he can get to the girl, she can become his girlfriend, lady, whatever, or just smash. You know what I'm saying? He's looking for that. That's exactly what the article was saying, right? And so when a woman puts a man in a friend zone, she is just wanting him to be a friend, right? She's not looking for him other than to be a masculine energy to some degree, unless he's gay, right? Which a lot of women like to have gay men friends for some reason, because they want a man there, right? If they can't get one, so to speak. So it's not a positive thing. I see what you're trying to say. Go ahead, Jay Zilla, what you got?
No, I appreciate you for further clarifying. I just still think it's incumbent upon what our, I guess, POVs are. I mean, I truly believe that. I do believe that there are some women who are like, hey, you're great. I just want to be your friend. And I do see a situation where a guy is like, even if he's just waiting in the cut, if he respects that, that can blossom into a real friendship long term. Right. And vice versa. And so if I'm just saying, in that very small box, I think it's okay. Right. But if you have people out here, on the flip side, like you are, to be more sinister, who are saying like women are dragging these guys along, then Prototype is right. Like, that's a guy allowing himself to be.
No, I wasn't. No, that's what girls say. Girls say he shouldn't let, you know what I mean? A guy shouldn't let his time be wasted. Like, they always pass the blame like it's a dude's fault.
Yeah, I think that's a trait that can be found on both sides, though, right?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying. I'm just saying
Okay.
women always blame men for like being taken advantage of by a woman.
Well, I like to look at it as a Rorschach test, like friend zone. This is why we have to get better at communicating. We have to teach our children how to think critically and how to be okay, as they say in the negotiation table, be okay with walking away. This FOMO thing is a real phenomenon, right? This fear of missing out. I mean, you're hearing, like, I used to ask my girls all the time, like, what if a guy asks you to do some stuff, right? And, I'm going to say no. But what if and I just give them a bunch of scenarios that guys give girls, and you can see them just in this conversation weakening, right? And so my job as a father was to try to strengthen their resolve in that situation. If you do anything, I hope you wait till you're married, but if you do anything, like, make sure it's something that you actually want to do, that you want coerced or worn down or anything like that. So I don't know. We have to teach our youth, because I mean, they're next up.
Humble that if I
Falls
may.
over the crowd.
Humble that if I
I don't know
may.
if that's good or bad.
Nah, you good. Lost is about to say something.
Yeah. Jay Zilla, here's the thing, man. We love to say what the guy should do, but in honesty, we should make the girl say, hey, look, I'm not interested. And make it be okay for them to say that. I think a lot of times women string guys along because they don't want to be the bad guy. And we never taught them how to release guys back into the wild. You know what I mean? Because they may have some type of abandonment issue that requires that the person provide some type of validation or attention for them. So they're going to have to be secure in themselves to say, hey, look, you know what? This is not necessarily what I want to do. And I wish you the best, and be okay with letting him go instead of keeping him around as if he's a toy, and vice versa with men and women as well, too. Let them know, hey, look, this is not going farther than what it is. I don't want to waste your time. I really wish you the best. And I'm going to go ahead and let you go and find who will best fit for you, and be okay with that. And instead of telling women to say, it was his fault that he took me out. It was his fault that He bought me gifts. Well, guess what? He was supposed to do those things if he liked you. You know, a guy will, open doors for you, buy gifts for you, dote on you, all of that good stuff if he likes you. But if you never tell him you don't like him back, then who's the real bad person here?
Criminal.
Exactly. So I think we need to make it okay and safe for women to say, hey, look, I'm really not interested. And that way they keep their class about themselves and don't, have a bad self-esteem problem by telling them, hey, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'm talking to all my children now about how to recognize if someone actually loves you, right? Your friends, if they love you, they're not trying to get you into no foolishness, right? I tell my girls, if that guy is saying that he loves you, let him prove it with his actions, but we also have to, so I'm constantly telling them, like, in my house, we value kindness. We value gentleness. We value being fair, and we value communicational skills. And with all that, it comes to them having a chance to properly communicate their feelings. Sometimes they have to do it with me. They'll stop me in the heartbeat. And Dad, I understand you want to talk about this, but I really am not in a good space, and I don't want to risk saying anything crazy, right? And so, like, we'll separate, and then we'll come back and try again later. Like, these are skills we got to teach them, while they're young. Like, this ideal of the bear or the man in the woods, like, that hurt my heart a little bit, that all these women are out there rather, or at least they rather come across a wild bear in the woods than a man they don't know, And I think a lot of that stems on bad behavior on both sides being sort of elevated in these sorts of spaces. Social media, if it bleeds, it leads on CNN or Fox. It doesn't even matter. They're all the same thing. They got to get the clicks, the engagement, whatever keeps people coming back for the blood. But I think we can do better. And I'm with you, Loss. Like, any of my takes, I try to make them such that you can reverse the gender roles all you want, but it's applicable. And it really comes down to good people, bad people, right? So that's where I'm at with all this.
I'm interested in that statement, though. You said, and I wanted to hear from the ladies, because I had this conversation with my 14-year-old and my wife as well, and they had their perspectives. Why are women choosing, so many women, I won't say all, choosing the bear versus the man that they don't know? Any one of the ladies?
You said choosing the bear versus the man that they don't know.
Like in the woods, because it's like, if you're in the woods, what would you rather?
Okay. So I think this is a perspective that most men will never understand in terms of being a woman in this space. Just to, I say, operate in the world, we are always having to be cautious, right? There's always this level of unsafetyness being around men that you don't know, because from an early age, even by our dads or whoever, we're taught, don't trust no man, right? Because they're only after one thing, right? So you're getting those messages early on about that aspect. And then when you're in the world and dealing, like how I told y'all, grown men hanging out at the high school, trying to get younger girls. So moving through the world, especially if you're somewhat attractive, especially when you're younger, like, you would be surprised, maybe you're not surprised, how many like grown men who know that you are underage will come at you and things like that. So for a woman being alone with a man that's a stranger, that's automatically going to be one of the first things that kind of pop into her head based on the environment that she's in. So being in a secluded environment, that will be the thought, he's going to rape me. You know what I'm saying? And it's just the nature of moving as a woman in this world. It's unfortunate.
Thank you for sharing that, Jamie.
It would be like the uncertainty. So like I know the bear would possibly hurt me. Like I know that the bear is wild. I know the bear's nature is to be a wild animal. But the man, like, I don't know what he can and cannot do. Like I don't know his true intention. You can never tell the true intention of a male, right? And so I don't know. I don't know anything about this bear and the man situation. I really don't. I have not seen it. But if I look at it from the perspective of I know that the bear is a wild animal and I know what to expect with that animal. But when I have to look at a human and I don't know what to expect from that person, like I don't. And so if I was smart, I would pick the thing that I know what they're going to do versus the thing that I don't know what they can possibly do to me. And I'm just giving you what, if I'm looking at it from a perspective purpose, I don't know what the argument was. So that is just that's
It was
what
a
my
would you
logical thinking
rather.
would say.
It was one of those would you rather type questions. Would you rather be in the woods with a man, or would you rather be in the woods with a bear? That's what the question has
You're
been.
walking in the woods and you come across one or the other. Which one would you rather? And that makes me sad to hear that coming from women. And that should be a sort of whistle for us men, right? To one, teach our children better. Because I mean, that's a good point. The idea that your father instills so much fear in you, mistaken, right? And look, I had some weapons training with the drill sergeant, and he was in the police department for a long time. And some of the training for it was all like, all right, somebody pulls up at a stoplight and 3 guys jump out with shotguns, go. And it's like, what? You know what I mean? Where is this scenario even happening? And that kind of training is what they train our police officers for. And so you can imagine, like, okay, well, that makes a little bit more sense why we're seeing so much violence. It's actually up this last year at the end of 2023, right? More people died at the hands of police. After all the marching, after all the talking, after all the George Floyd bills being pushed forward and, you know, politicized and then pulled back. But the idea of that bear in the wild, I don't think women understand how bears eat and how protective they are of their territory and how, you know, they challenge, right? I watched a video one time, and this is awful. Literally a bear, they don't act like predators, right? Like a big cat, like a tiger or a lion, they go for the neck, get you, you know, incapacitated, and then they eat you. A bear just pins you down and strips pieces of flesh off of you. So I think, like, do these women even understand what they're saying, right? A man you can talk to, right? I heard some funny things on the internet too, where women were like, but what if he's fine? Like he may rather be right come across a bear than me. You know what I mean? So it's all these things, right, that we keep telling each other. At what point do we all just say, let's pause for a minute and think this through, and is this logical? And I think us parents have to actually seek out more information and try to understand the things that we're talking about, and then maybe we'll have a more informed conversation.
But see, Jayzilla, about the bear thing, that's what Jamie was talking about. She knows what the bear is capable of. She knows that the bear can kill her in one swoop, right? The thing is that with the man, you don't know what he's capable of. It could be like some Jeffrey Dahmer kind of situation. So in that sense, I'd rather deal with the bear because you're going to take me out and it's going to be done and over with, as opposed to keeping me alive and doing things to me and dragging it out. A bear is not going to have that mindset. It's just going to act on its nature
I
as a
think that's
bear.
a Hollywood mindset.
But tell those to the people that Jeffrey Dahmer killed. like I'm like they even now, like even maybe not to the extreme of a Jeffrey Dahmer, but there are women who have been brutally raped over multiple days, gang raped. You know what I'm saying? Not too soon after that, there was a video that showed how the 4 guys was in the woods and they raped a lizard,
You have
Like
to
what
be careful with that word on these streets.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So just the mindset of a man to even think about gang raping a lizard and then they cooked it and ate it. You know what I'm saying? So those are things that like I'm not saying women are going around saying, "Oh, he gonna rape me and eat me." No, I don't mean that, but just the mindset of a man is unpredictable. So for a woman being in that situation like that, we don't know. He could be the sweetest, kindest man, but for us, it's up in the air. We don't know.
And that's what Jay Zilla is saying. He's saying that the logic behind it is more feeling than logic, is what he's saying. Right? You feel a fear that you're not sure of, but you're more comfortable with the fear that you know. That's what you all are saying. And so to make like the situation that happened to most women is not good and it's awful as it relates to some type of SA, whether it's underage or whether it's where it's unprovoked, where guys are groping women and things of that nature. That's unfortunate, right? I would say though, obviously, as speaking as a man, would you look at it as that most men, what percentage of, well, I'll get it like this. What percentage of men do you think are in the mindset of taking advantage of women?
Can you clarify taking advantage?
I'm talking about whether, like in the woods, groping,
I mean,
or trying to SA, because that really kind of helps explain a couple of things. Because if you all, based on that percentage, that would say that y'all believe that the majority of men are not good morally.
I think it's the poison Skittle situation.
Hold on. So what percentage would you say that men would try to take advantage of women in the woods?
If they knew that there would be no consequences.
No, just I'm not.
No, because I think that makes a difference, is what I'm saying. And I think for most people, if you
they have no consequences.
No, what I'm saying, if you can get away with like doing something and there wouldn't be a consequences, you will probably more than likely have an increase in people doing stuff. Sometimes it's the laws, the rules, the regulations that help keep some people in check. There are some people that don't need it because they keep themselves in check. They don't need that. But there are where I think I would say even vast majority of people need to know that there's going to be some consequence to keep them in check. So in a situation like being in the woods, and if you know that there's no possibility that you would get in trouble, I'm going to say 80-20. I believe in that 80-20 rule. So I would think there's probably 80% of men that would probably do something and get away with it than not. So I would say the majority of men would.
Okay. What you got, Jamie?
I would agree with Miss Taken, and I'm going to agree with her based on me working at the juvenile court clerk's office and in the dependency and neglect section. And so I've seen cases filed that probably would really ruin people's lives. I've seen people that are everyday people being filed cases against them, touching on their daughters or making their siblings sleep with one another. I have seen things and when you see them, because I had to treat everybody the same, I had to treat them as if they were not criminals. When they come to the counter, you would never think that that was the person that I just read this petition about, right? So, and some of the things men did, I've seen them where they've tied up their kids and rolled them out outside and let them sit in the chair and would burn them with cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? Their children, they would do this to their kids. And so I would say about 80-20. And this is all races. This is not just saying Black. I'm saying all races, like the mind of an unstable person is not stable and it's not safe. And not everybody is Christian, even if they say they are, because I've seen those ones in there. I've seen a man come in, old, crippled man. I was helping him to his seat and then found out that he had been molesting kids for years. And he was a school teacher at one point. He was the music school teacher, and he was molesting kids in the school. Then he left the school and he was molesting kids in the church. And he could barely walk. So 80-20.
That's the point. But your data would be considered skewed data, though.
Right.
Why do you say that?
Am I mistaken? Because you're coming from that particular pool of people.
Right.
So
well, no, if you look at the stats, even
I know. I'm saying if you go to, I'm talking about her data. And I'm not talking about. I'm not saying
why
that
would my data be skewed?
Because if it would be like getting data from a hospital and saying 100% of the people that come to the hospital are sick.
Right. And Jamie, you had that same
because those are the numbers that you have. So you would say the majority of people are sick in the world, when they're probably not.
If you look at the general stats of in terms of women experiencing or girls experiencing SA or something along those lines, is about 1 in 3, right? That's a substantial amount of girls being exposed to that.
Yes,
now, that's not to say that every single one of them were men. It could have been by women as well.
Yes.
But the vast majority of them are typically by men.
I don't know if that to be the case.
I'm telling you, look at the stats. That's not to say that guys don't get SA'd as well. I spoke about that before. The difference is with boys, especially if it's a woman with a boy, the way society frames it, boys don't be thinking that they've gotten molested or SA'd.
Yeah.
It's viewed as a come up. Oh, you had an older woman, but no, they've been SA'd and, molested or what have you as well. So those numbers aren't reported as often, but even their numbers are kind of high as well. Yeah, definitely one in 3 is a huge number.
What I was saying to, I'm trying to make sure you understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I know that particular stat.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying that Jamie's situation wouldn't be able to qualify necessarily as speaking to a percentage of why she would go with 80. Right. And even in your situation, you still wouldn't be able to go with 80. You said 1 in 3. Right. It's still that's 33%. Right. But that's still a lot. Right. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. So don't make a mistake about that. I'm very aware of many women. A lot of women have been molested. I'm aware of that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also aware of that. Most if that happened and they go to jail, they're mistreated in the jail by dudes in the jail, because dudes in the jail don't even validate men that do that. You see what I'm saying? So even the people that went to prison for whatever type of crime they did are not okay with men molesting. Right? So that's even shows you a different level of morality, that a criminal would say, no, you should not do that to a woman or a kid, because you do that, we're going to destroy you in here. Go ahead, Jesus.
That's all I was asking in the back chat. Like you said, being held accountable, and that's what keeps everything in check. And my question was, being held accountable by whom? Right? If right now every man just emailed each other somehow and just decided, hey fellas, gates are open, do whatever you want, how much of a chance do y'all think y'all will stand? Do you really believe it's going to be that much of a, like 80% of men are just going to have their way? Or is there going to be a huge chunk of men who do what they always have done, which is protect women? And just real quick not against, but the point for Miss Jamie, you had a situation on here where you said you were talking about your clients, and 9 out of 10 say, they left because he was cheating. And Humble says something about them being possibly lying. But my thought was she's working in an industry where women who have been cheated on are coming to her to help put themselves back together. So that's what we have.
Your show, right?
Right. So that's why we have these averages, right? That, that's why we've got to look at the micro and the macro. And that stat about even boys being involved but not being as much reported. Like, look at how things are portrayed on TV. You know what I mean? Like, literally,
I guess my problem is with like them not reporting. Majority of my petitions had young boys in there being touched on, and that's where I think that these stats are invalid sometimes too. Just because in my petitions I didn't just have females in my thing, I had a lot of young boys that were touched, sometimes murdered. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have no small cases, and so and that's why I question stats, because there should be a higher percentage of young men, and this is something that have been touched inappropriately, that have been violated and done some horrific things to. And that's why I want to make sure I say this. When I stated those petitions, that included young men. Like, the man at the church wasn't raping young women. It was young boys that he was doing that to.
Yeah, we're not. That's not what
I just wanted to clarify that.
We totally understood what you were saying. We were saying that mistaken information would be more of an opportunity to grab a hold to as a stat, because it's a random sample size and they're getting a random sample of things. You cannot go to the hospital and survey people about being sick.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's the difference in your particular study, or not even study, but your sample size, as opposed to mistaken. We're not discrediting that it happens. We're discrediting as it being a source to cite that 80% of men would be doing the same type of thing to women. That's what we're saying. And then on top of that, even mistaken's stat has 67% of women not being SA, boys or girls being SA, which would still allude to that your percentage is really high.
Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like what Jamie said, though, too, and let's keep it real. The stats is based off of those that have reported.
Correct.
So I would also argue that those stats are probably way much higher than that. But that's what we have right now. So that's what we have to go by. But yeah, I would say vast majority are not even reported.
That's a fair assessment, and I can roll with that. No doubt about it. I was just trying to make that particular point right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But all over together, it's a horrible situation, because for anybody to get molested is horrible. And not only that, because of it, there's a traumatization to where individuals will now think that the majority of a particular gender would do that to them. Right? Because that's what it is that you're saying. And then we had to put a caveat on it to say, well, if there was nobody that would get in trouble. I think it's like the movie Purge. I think it was a movie where you can do whatever you want, right? And so what Jay Zilla is saying, that he believes that there would be more men policing, protecting women and children. You all are saying, no, we believe that most of the men will be out here trying to get at women. And that is a problem. If you are thinking that particular manner.
Yeah, that's 3 out of 4 of us men on this panel right now.
Humble that, if I may, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
If I may. I think the real problem is how men are marketed to women. You know what I'm saying? If you look at it, most men are marketed as evil beings. That's the reason why women don't trust us. Think about it. Every horror movie is the center of a man. You got Jason Voorhees, you got Michael Myers, you know what I'm saying? You got Freddy Krueger. All those are guys. Those are bad men. But if in the case of women, they're always portrayed as some type of dolls. You got Annabelle, Bride of Chucky, you know what I'm saying? Something that's not as not as threatening. You know what I'm saying? I can handle a little doll. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But when it comes to men, they're always villainized. You see what I'm saying? So it's the optics that women have to get over. You see what I'm saying? Think about it. Your husband are those guys who are also someone's son as well too. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want another woman accusing your husband of being a terrible animal. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why when we lie to women, we actually inadvertently put them in compromising positions that may endanger their lives. And I think the psychological aspect of this is horrible. You see what I'm saying? You're convincing women that their protectors are the evil ones, when in reality, your protectors are keeping you safe from the world, which is evil. And I think that is a bad way to portray men. And I think the rest of the world owe men an apology, because every time a man speaks, he speaks the wrong way. You know, he doesn't always have the right answers. He's a bumbling idiot. You know what I'm saying? They'll portray him as an Al Bundy. You know what I mean? Or somebody like that is somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. And what happens is when you take away a man's identity to lead without his say so, that's actually doing the rest of the world a disservice. A man can't lead if the other people don't have confidence in him to lead. That's the main reason why I always tell other men, stop lying on men. Men are here to help, not hurt. And when we hear these stories, I can't help to think about the women who have sons don't see their little boys as serial, you know what's. You see what I'm saying? How could you even look at your son and say he's going to go out and he's going to be a bad person? You see what I'm saying? And I don't think that we should do that. Think about it, how women are marketed. Women are marketed as sugar and spice and everything nice. So guess what? No matter what they do, they get the benefit of the doubt. Think about how many women who have lied, who have said that men have done terrible things to them, and come to find out they didn't. They don't serve any time. They don't go to jail. They don't pay back restitution, nor do they restore this gentleman's reputation. You see what I'm saying? But they let it slide. But if it was the other way around, then that man has to live with that forever. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is this: I think the world does men a disservice by telling women that men are bad. You see what I'm saying? I would hate to live in a world where it was the other way around, where all women were evil and men always had something bad to say about women, and men would rather choose the bear over women. I think that's a disservice, because I think women are better than a bear. You see what I'm saying? And in essence, a man is better than a bear, because a man will go out 9 times. He's not thinking about having sex with you. He's thinking about survival. You see what I'm saying? He's probably trying to find shelter. He's probably trying to figure out how to eat. And he's probably trying to figure out how to feed you, or say, hey, look, I'm here to help. I'm not here to do anything wild because I'm hungry. I'm trying to eat. Most guys are thinking about their survival. They're not thinking about sex in the woods or no foolishness like that, if we're being honest about the situation. So I want women to really think about the situation that you're in. You're in the woods alone. Survival is the number one key. And I don't think sex is on the top of guys' minds when it comes to survival. They're probably trying to get to a situation where they can survive another day. And that's how most men are in the world. They're just trying to get through the next day. They're not thinking about taking sex from a woman or anything like that. Most guys are good. And I hate when people paint pictures of men. That's why there's always a low level of contempt for women. And that's the reason why I said earlier, Humble Dad, the reason why most women make bad decisions when it comes to men is because they don't have enough information. And I assure you, if that woman talked to that man in the woods, she would understand that he was probably no threat. But that bear, I assure you, he would eat you. He is a killing machine. He's going to do what God put him on this earth to do, and that's to survive. And if he has to eat you to do it, he will. And nobody's going to think anything other than the bear was just doing what the bear does. So I'm going to close by saying this. Ladies, make sure that you understand that men are not here to take advantage of you or harm you in a way. Most men are here good and to serve.
Proto, then mistaken. Proto, on you.
Okay. Yeah. So Is sex with a man really worse than getting eaten by a bear? Like, good Lord. Like, that's crazy.
What a question.
That's crazy to me.
Case in
Like,
point.
y'all are so
Case in point.
y'all are so afraid to have sex with the man. Like, that's scarier than being eaten by a bear.
Wow, that's a dope question, Proto.
That's crazy. Good Lord.
Case in point. That's exactly what we were saying. You would never understand what it is like to be a woman just by that comment that you made. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's asking.
Eaten by a bear. Like, he's eating you
When
alive. He's
she
ripping
that
off
she rather
flesh.
die. She
like
said she'd rather die.
right. Well, in terms of
That's
of
not
course,
dying.
I have a
That's
family.
agonizing.
In terms of family, of course, you're going to do what you got to do to survive. So if a woman ends up getting raped, she'll just have to deal with it and deal with the consequences of that, the lifelong consequences of being in that situation. So of course, at the end of the day, like you said, logically thinking, which one will I be able to get home? It is a toss up because you don't know if the bear is hungry. If the bear isn't hungry, they ain't gonna bother you. You know what I'm saying? But if
the man ain't a creep, he's not gonna bother you.
Huh?
If the man not a creep, he not gonna bother
Well, that's
you.
what I'm saying. So what women are saying is, I don't know, it might be a 50-50 chance, in that situation. But
even if the man's a creep, that's worse than being torn apart by a bear?
I wouldn't know, because once the bear hit me, I'm knocked out. It's over
No,
with.
you're
It's
not.
done.
No,
It's
you're
done.
not.
It depends on what
Not how
kind
they
of
hunt.
bear it is.
That's not how they hunt. That's not how they eat. It's slow and painful, and
It
most times
depends
they
on.
don't.
I was reading, it was saying black bears are different than brown bears, and polar bears are the worst. So
They're a
it
lot
all
smaller,
depends
but
on.
they hunt the same and they
Um,
eat the same.
No, so what I'm saying is I think they were saying like with black bears, you have a likelihood more of survival based on like, making a noise, make yourself look big. Like it was just a bunch of
Hey, bear
videos going
technique,
around and
yeah.
all of that. But my point is that even the fact that I guess a man brain is able to think like that because they don't ever have to live in the fear of being sexually assaulted.
But that's not true, though. That's not true.
Not at the same. Well, if they're in jail, maybe that might be a situation.
Your premise before was as a kid. Your own premise was when as kids. That's what we was talking about being molested. We were talking about boys and girls being molested as a kid. That's what we were talking about. So
correct.
a boy. Listen,
I'm saying now as an adult,
right,
I
but
think
you
that's
changed
different.
it though. But at first,
No, when I said I didn't say boys, I said men don't. So that
men have
insinuates
it,
that they're an adult man.
men have the same. We don't necessarily look at it as a fear, but men. But let's see, women as a men just as much as women do men. That is what you're not understanding, because a woman.
You're talking about younger. That I'm talking about no. I'm going off of what Proto was saying.
Okay.
He was talking about adult men. So what I was referring to is adult men don't walk around with the same fear of being SA'd as an adult woman would. They don't.
I see what you're saying. What I'm saying is, I understand. I don't think that us guys on the panel don't understand that y'all. We're not. It's important to stay in the context of what the conversation is and not go out of bounds of it. Because what we were talking about was from the position of a bear and a man. We're not talking about if you're walking the streets of Atlanta or walking the streets of Dallas. We understand why y'all would have a fear of a guy doing something to you and you're walking by yourself. That's why we as men would say, why would you go to the club by yourself? Or why would you be out late by yourself? Why would a woman go running in New York City in the park by herself? Because we understand that there are dangers there in particular, more often, it's going to be a guy. We are aware of that. What we're trying to make understanding of is if you had a choice, because this is your choice. The choice that you're saying is that you would prefer to die a painful death versus, I mean, it's going to be inevitable that you're going to die, as opposed to take the 25 to 30% chance that this guy may SA you. That's what you're saying. It's 100% chance you're going to be eaten by this bear. It's a 70% chance that this man is coming alongside you to help you to safety. And we're saying, how do you all ration that, is what we're saying. We're not disagreeing that men will take that there are men that will see you walking down the street and will try to do something to you. Not the majority of men will do that. They might catcall you or something to that nature, but the majority of men are not out here trying to SA women, is what the panel is saying. Go ahead, Jamie.
Okay, so I didn't answer the question originally. I gave the logic behind that thing because I don't know the bear situation. If it was me, I wouldn't be in the woods in the first place. But if I had to choose between a bear and a man, you feel me? I'll be out there because I can't even be outside with the cicadas right now. It's real bad for me. I've been outside, and y'all don't really know. And so, with that being said, I would pick the man and be at my own risk. But that's me personally, right? When I look at it logically, I'm telling you, the women, when they're looking at it, I know what this bear is going to do. I know that what this bear is capable of. And women have such a fear of men based on the things that the panel has said that they would pick. They would pick the bear. They would pick the bear over a man. Now, you guys got my answer. Now, that is my answer for me. Now, I can't speak for anybody else. I didn't even know. I don't know. I got to look this up now. I'm not even going to go to sleep.
Question for this evening. Oh, man. Goodness gracious, y'all derailed me. It was a good dialogue, though. And so I hate the transition when it's such a good dialogue. You know what I'm saying? But the question that I had, and if y'all can make it short and sweet, you know what I'm saying? Why do women want power without responsibility? Why do women want power without responsibility? I'll give you an example. So we have single mothers, right? And they will say, well, it wasn't my fault I got pregnant, example, right? They will say it was that man that manipulated me. Okay. Now, okay, how can a man manipulate you to do something such as having sex? Right? Because you had to want it. He couldn't even have the opportunity to manipulate you. He can't. With that, that's an example. Another example of is similar to who we have, Vivica Fox, where she had the power to be in the position to be a wife. 50 didn't want her like that. However, she could have moved on. She did have I think she transitioned and she had a 26-year-old dude about 13 years ago or something like that. She chose to be with a 26-year-old dude, right? As opposed to now she's saying she want a friend. Why isn't she able to say, or most women are able to say, you know what, I messed up. The way that I was thinking prior was wrong. Now I know that I'm in the position that I'm in because of me, not because of the men that are out there. So I want to hear who wants to go first on this one.
I'll go.
I'll take it.
Let's go, Proto.
Women are children. Shout out to your boy that always say that. I don't remember his name.
Mr. Let Go.
Yeah. No, I mean, so we're actually doing an episode about it, man. It's like the forever teen. Like they always want to be teenagers. Like that's what a teenager wants to do. They want all the power, none of the accountability, none of the responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just a lack of maturity. You know, they say women mature faster than men, but I think it stops and then men outgrow them after that. You know what I'm saying? And they just forever stay in their mind in their 20s. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it is for real. Unless they get hit with the reality of ain't no man coming to save me, they'll be stuck, and that's where they stay. So.
Good. Jay Zilli, you want to go?
Sure. I like prototype statement. But again, anything I say, I try to make it be, have the ability to be flipped for either gender we're talking about. Humans are children. Some of us mature very quickly. Some of us have this thing. I think it's Arrested Development, right? You see the 70-year-old dude still wearing basketball shorts and an old jersey, right? Who's hanging around looking for a 16-year-old mistaken, wait for her to get out of school, unfortunately. But I think if we take a step back, I'm telling you, we need this ceasefire. Take a step back and look at these situations. Again, when my daughters, we talked about this bear man in the woods situation, right? My job wasn't to say, oh, you're dumb and here's why. My job was, why do you feel that way? Right? And then, do you think we can do our part as men to correct that? And then maybe in time, that perception changes. Maybe in time, maybe 50 years from now, they'll be like, of course, a man. I can negotiate with him, right? Listen, we'll do it once a month, right? You build me a house and hunt for me. Who knows, right? But the Vivica Fox situation, I think that's the situation where she got caught up in what she was sold and told, right? Girl, you can be a cougar. I mean, there's so many cougar shows out there now. You can be a cougar, get you a young man, just satisfy your needs. You got all this money. You can take care of everything else. I don't need a man. I'm independent, right? But then it turns out that, she does want something more deep and fulfilling. So I kind of hear where she's coming from, which is, I want somebody my age, right? That young dude, yes, he was built like the statue of David, and he was fantastic, right? But I'm, referenced some old show, and he's looking at me like I'm crazy. And that we got to start realizing that we're more than just the physical. For the most part, I do believe we're spiritual, and that needs to be fed. All right. So I'm closing. Let's go with Lost in Translation.
You know what? That's a great question, Humble Dad. I think if we look at this whole entire conversation and put it on a bow, I think women would rather put the man in the friend zone in case things don't work out between her and the bear. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what we're talking about here. You want all the options and the freedoms to choose the man just in case the bear decides to get hungry. You know what? Man, do your thing. Handle this bear for me. You know what I'm saying? They want the decision to choose the bear, but they want to have the option to have the man handle the bear in case things get dicey. So basically, if you ask my opinion on it, that's probably the reason why women want all the benefits of making an option of having responsibility without having any power behind it. So that would probably be my synopsis of wrapping this whole thing. They want to put the man in the friend zone in case things don't work out between her and the bear. I'm gonna go with mistaken. I'm not gonna let you off the hook tonight.
You're funny.
But it's true. It's true.
I think when we talk about power, because there's different forms of power, but in general, I think most women are looking for a balance of power. It is not necessarily taking power. So in a situation that you just gave, is not that they're not taking ownership per se. They want the power and then they don't take responsibility. It is the other aspect of wanting the man to take responsibility as well. So and that's what I mean by the balance of power. I end up pregnant, but then it's my fault that I didn't keep. You want me to take responsibility by saying, man, this wouldn't happen if I kept my legs closed. Then we would have never had sex. So all of the ownership and the power is kind of laced on my lap without that balance of it, of saying, you know what, he should have wore a condom or he shouldn't have had sex too. So I think a lot of times that's what gets mixed up, is that, and I think Jay Zilla, we talked about this a little bit too, about how the ownership is put on women to keep men in line. And that's not men taking accountability and responsibility. You're looking for the woman to make you responsible and make you be accountable by her closing her legs, as opposed to you having self-discipline. So typically, I don't think women are trying to challenge men for power. I think you guys feel like that when we're just trying to have a fight for a balance of power. So I think that's the difference.
Jamie, on you.
All right, I'm going to start with my answer. Personally, I don't want power, and I definitely don't want responsibility. It sucks here. It sucks. Period. I am really disheartened about the way I thought being a grown-up would be fun, and now it's just really a lot. Okay. I will say that when I look at history, women have a lot more power than we truly understand. And I think we've desired power, if we look at the Bible, since the beginning, right? If we didn't, we wouldn't have been able to be convinced to eat from the tree so we could be wiser. You know, if we felt like we needed something extra, right? I believe we evade responsibility even from then, because nothing really happened until Adam decided to partake in what Eve done, right? And so the responsibility really fell on the man. And so we just kind of look like, well, you know, we got a big punishment because we have to bear children, but God got on to Adam about it. And that's why he said, well, it's the woman you gave me that brought this over here, right? So if we look at history and our DNA structure and what we've done, we've always wanted power, but no responsibility. Women, even at younger ages, like you could see a young little girl, she's bossy. She'd come out sometimes just very bossy, more bossy than the boy. She would bully the young boy, you know, head on. And I have two nieces. I watched them do it. I watched them do it before they could even talk. I was like, hey, y'all are bullying your older brother. Like this is not okay. Like, you don't do that. But it's because I don't know what's in us that makes us want to tell y'all what to do, and point our fingers like that. But I've seen babies do it, right? And so that's why we innately want power, the ability to be wise, and we don't want responsibility a lot of the time. But we have lots of responsibility. That's why we bear the children. And if a man gets us pregnant and leaves, we the one that has to raise them. So we're forced to be responsible now. Just FYI, like that's the way I look at it. But I think it sucks here. Just that's all I wanted to say.
Man, listen. You said that it sucks here. You know, are you taking responsibility for the reason why it sucks here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I took responsibility when it happened. I already knew. I knew. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not fun.
Okay, that's cool. I was just asking because that's the topic, right? You know, the power as it relates to, like I was telling me and Miss Taken had this conversation almost a week ago, the previous Friday. And I know Jay Zilla likes to disagree. And I got a partner, shout out to Dez, likes to disagree. And like to go back to the biblical times and things of that nature. But y'all off on this one. Explain why. The paradigm as it relates to having a dad in the household is no longer there. So to utilize how it worked in the Bible is not adequate if the woman is not being raised by a father, which in our culture is not So therefore, the woman in the past, we're gonna go 70s, 80s. These men are being raised by single moms. So you're telling a man right now that in my generation to step up and be a man. Right? You hold the man responsible for being a man, and he was not raised by a man. But then when it's time to say, keep your legs closed, young lady, now it's the man needs to step up too and have dick discipline, which I do agree that he needs to have dick discipline, but he can have dick discipline by you saying no. If you say no, he don't have a choice. So once again, we are trying to not allow women to be held accountable for the decision as it relates to the sex that takes place. Now, once he gets her pregnant, listen, all day I'm telling him he needs to take care of the kid. Right? What I'm saying is that why can't we talk to the women before that happens and let her know that you're the one that has the highest, you're the one that has the highest risk factor. You're the one that is going to lose out the most. If this dude don't stay around, the kid is on you. So I don't understand for the life of me why we want to say that it's the man's fault when she could have prevented it. And not only that, they both were raised by single mothers, but it's okay when it comes to the woman, but we still going to hold the man accountable to be a man, even though he was raised by that same single mother. I don't understand it. And it's really important for me to like when I'm talking to my kids, something happened. One of y'all is responsible. And now, how can it be both of their fault if one of them started it? If one of them started it, I need to talk to that person about what their responsibility was in causing the argument or causing the dismay or the dysfunction that just took place. And if the other kid responded immaturely, then I will deal with that person as well, because there is a way that you need to respond. But there is a responsibility that the woman holds as it relates to the power of sex. You cannot continue to run from this, ladies. And I'm giving you game. And I don't understand why women want to go against the game that I'm giving. Y'all just said it earlier, friend zoning. If he's in the friend zone, he ain't getting nothing. But because you want to have sex, and then you want to say, well, it was his fault that we had sex, or he's a no good dude after y'all had sex, or he's not husband material after the baby's here, or he's not a good father because now the baby's here, right? And he's not doing nothing. The responsibility starts before the baby gets here. Keep your legs closed, and you will see totally different results. That's what I got. And I'm going to continue to say.
But humble,
you want to lose on this one too? Go ahead, Jay-Z.
That's part of the problem. The idea that it's win or loss. Why are we not in this together to help everybody? Kind of rising tide lifts all ships. The idea that what you just said was that, yeah, if the person reacts badly to that person who started something, they're going to be dealt with too. And why can we use the Bible? Because that's the thing that God uses to hold us accountable. I don't care what any woman, I tell my sons this all the time. I don't care what people do outside of here. You know the rules, you know right from wrong, and you're going to have to deal with those consequences. I'm already teaching my children self-responsibility and holding themselves accountable. Right? So I'm trying to figure out, why can't it just be any of you out there who are having sex outside of marriage, just know that that's wrong according to the Bible. Outside, right? But outside of that, same thing. If we agree to do this thing, part of that is both of us taking what comes with it. This idea of who does it first and this one has more, like, I don't subscribe to that, man. That story,
Hold on, real quick. So when you talk to your kids,
when I talk to my kids,
is both their fault?
I talk to them as individuals, and I say, "Here's your fault, and here's your fault. Here's how both of y'all could have worked together to prevent this."
So how is that different than what I said?
Yeah, because you're making this, well, who did it first? And the woman opened her legs, and that's the real.
Didn't you just say that about your own kids? You just said, kid A, I'm gonna tell you what your fault is in it. And kid B, I'm gonna tell you your fault is in it. And I'm gonna tell you how y'all could have rectified this situation without me.
Just like Miss Taken was talking about.
I literally just did that, Jay.
That's the ideal. It should be both every single time. Every single time, Humble.
Jay,
every single time.
That's exactly what I did. And because it's not under the caveat of how you're comfortable with it, because that would absolve the woman to that particular degree. Because literally what I said was once he impregnates her or has sex with her, I literally said he should have dick discipline. I said that. I said, but the way that it could happen without it even him having to do that as well is for her to not give it to him.
Right, but my question is,
explain to me.
I'm asking.
No question. You answer my question. My question is, how is that different from me saying, woman, this is where your responsibility lies? Man, this is where your responsibility lies. And this is how you're able to avoid the turmoil that y'all both have brought into this world.
Because you're putting this weird order on it for some strange reason. I don't understand this. Right? You're putting it, it's because the woman first, right? So she has first responsibility. Well, what about the man just not putting her in that position, not putting himself in that position?
How does the man put the woman in that position?
No, I'm saying just by even asking.
Answer.
What happens if we fix that? What happens if every man, Humble?
No, we're not going to answer that question.
We're not going to answer that question.
We haven't answered the other question.
My whole thing is our aim should be, let's look at why people are having sex and not taking responsibility. This is your portion. This is your portion, just like you did, Humble. Like I'm copping to that.
Okay.
Right. I think we need more of that. Men, this is what you should do. Women, this is what you should do. All the way back in the beginning, if Adam decided, hey girl, what are you doing with that fruit? Didn't God tell you? Who knows? We may still be in the garden getting it popping with no clothes on right now.
Listen, I literally said what the responsibility of the woman was. You didn't like that because I am not. Listen, sex.
Don't put words in my mouth. I'm saying that's fine. It's this weird first, second, third, like this weird.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you a different question.
Go ahead.
So I'll keep a simple one. So did your wife say who asked the question to who? Did you ask your wife to marry you? Or did she ask you?
I asked her.
Which came first?
Me asking her.
So which came second?
Her saying yes.
Okay. So the responsibility was on you first to ask. Is that true?
Yes. We believe in that traditionally. Yes.
Okay. And then it was her saying yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then y'all had to plan XYZ, right?
Right.
Same thing with sex. The woman is the one that typically initiates sex, homie. Yes.
What the frap are we talking about? There are some women that initiate sex, and there are some men that initiate sex.
Listen, follow me. What I'm saying is, a woman decides when y'all have sex. Agree or disagree?
This is like some CNN stuff. Agree, sir.
It's not rocket scientists.
That's a real.
No, I know it's not, but I'm saying, like, why can't we go back to the very?
Why are you running from what I'm asking?
No. I literally
just answer it and don't go nowhere else. Just answer the question and don't go nowhere else. All right?
Yes, sir.
Can sex happen? Does sex typically happen before the woman says yes?
No, sir.
Right. The woman is the one that says yes, we can first. It's not the guy saying let's go ahead and get it done, and then she's like, oh, okay. No, because she has to be comfortable.
But what you don't understand is that is the equal side to that too, because that's why I say it's a shared responsibility, because sex can't happen with one person. So regardless of who acts first, the opposite, the inverse is true. If the
What about marriage?
man,
Then? What about marriage mistaken? Do you agree
no,
with that?
what I'm no, hold on, listen. What I'm saying is the inverse is true. So just like the woman, the man can initiate, but the woman has to say yes and agree to it, and then it happens, right?
Mhm.
So the inverse could be true even if the woman initiates. The man have the same opportunity to say no, and guess what? It won't go anywhere. So what I'm saying for in that regard is that there's equal responsibility when it comes to sex. So if one part, it doesn't matter who says no. If the man keeps his penis in his pants, sex ain't gonna happen. If the woman keeps her legs closed, sex isn't gonna happen. So I don't think the messaging should just only be on women to say, keep your legs closed. Although I do think that that should be their messaging, but I think the equal messaging needs to be men, keep your penis in your pants.
But when
So
did I not?
if both of them are getting the same messaging, then at that point, it should be an equal shared responsibility of whatever consequences come from that.
But didn't I say
And
that?
a lot of times, no, what I'm saying is a lot of times women are blamed for being the single parent while absolving the man who put her in this situation to be a single parent.
See what I'm saying? He didn't put her in that situation. She put herself in that situation.
Humble dad, if I may,
She did not control the man leaving. Yes, she controlled the fact that she played a role in her getting pregnant.
Yeah.
But being a single mom is not, just like the man can't make the choice for her to have the child. It becomes her decision. Once she has the child, it becomes the man's decision to leave. She has no control over that.
Agree.
So that's why I'm saying is the equal responsibility. But I do agree with you. It's not a level of disagreeing with you that women should be told to keep their legs closed. But I'm just saying the same messaging should be given to men. Back in the day, the difference was there was a level of consequence for men impregnating a woman. Now that that consequence has been removed, like there aren't any more shotgun weddings. There isn't any male presence to enforce that you're not going to leave my daughter hanging with this baby by herself. There isn't any of that anymore. So now all of the shift, instead of getting back to that, the shift has become women, you need to keep your legs closed, as opposed to trying to change that aspect of men not being held accountable for self-discipline as well. That's all I'm saying.
I know. That's why I'm gonna come to you, Lost. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying, for whatever reason, you all don't want to put the sole position on the woman. For whatever reason, I don't know. You wanted. I'm not, because I did not say that a man should not have the discipline, and I said that. I literally said that first, right? And I just said it again, and I've said it on many times before. And then what I said is that he would have no choice if she kept her legs closed, because there are more single mothers than there are men with kids. You're aware of that, right?
You're aware of why that is, right? Yes, I am. You're aware of why that is, right?
No, we're not. That's not.
We're not going to get into it, right?
We can, but I'm just saying that's the premise, though. The premise is that there are more single mothers, because then you're saying you're going to blame the man just as much as the woman. Do you know? I'll give you this, okay, and I'm gonna shut down. Do you know this, that 50% of the deleted babies, right, are mothers that come back for a second time? Did you know that, Jay Zilla?
Yes, me and Jamie have had this conversation. a while
Okay.
back.
And that's the woman doing that to her own kid. So that's her responsibility of not making that dude be a husband first. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
So I did not absolve the guy. I'm putting more responsibility where the most risk lies. I don't see how that doesn't make sense. If the guy is going to be able to get out, why would it make more sense to tell the girls, listen, this dude is, y'all just talked about the dude was no good. That 80% of the dudes is trash. Y'all just said that. And then you come back and say, well, we gonna make it the responsibility of the trash dude for the reason why he did what we know he gonna do. Why would you not warn the woman of the 80% of the trash dude? That's what I'm saying. Y'all be talking outside y'all neck. And I don't think y'all really be knowing what y'all saying. That it's the responsibility of the person that has the most, listen to what I'm saying, the most risk. The person that has the most risk needs to be warned the most. Go ahead, Lost.
Wait, before he goes, it's my turn.
It's my turn. It's my turn, Jay Zilla. I've been waiting
because we've been going.
Yeah, it's my turn. Here's my thing. Earlier we talked about women choosing between the guy in the friend zone and the guy that they really like.
Yep.
Okay. At that point, the woman made the decision that the guy that they chose is the guy she's attracted to sexually. So A, that's a permission slip. B, we never even talked about the guy in the friend zone. He's the one that has the discipline. He's the one that's not having sex. How come we never bring that guy up in the conversation? You know why? Because he doesn't count. He's invisible. Believe it or not, that is your husband. The guy that you're getting pregnant by has not put a ring on your finger and said, will you marry me? Nor did you require marriage. You know what I'm saying? There was a time where women required marriage for entry. So that way, if you laid down with this man, he was your husband. But that's not what we're looking at today. We're seeing lots and lots of couples coming together, having children without doing the psychological work, the financial work, the spiritual work, the stuff that y'all love to say that y'all want. Y'all want a man with emotional intelligence. You never ask that man that. Why? Because it's like I said earlier, the guy that you like, you don't put him through the paces. You allow him, the barrier of entry is so low, he can just walk right on in. But the guy that you don't like, you give him this huge laundry list of stuff he must accomplish. Why not make the guy that you really like do that same list? You know why? Because there's a fear of abandonment. And also there's also this thing called fear of missing out. You don't want the status guy to get away, which would validate your ego, which is what we talked about earlier. So humble dad is correct. If you require marriage before you have sex, you have A, secured a promise. B, you've legitimized your children. 3, you're looked at in the community as a pillar of the community because you required your husband to make you a wife first. A totally different way that the world looks at a wife than they look at a baby mama. And you know what we've done? We've told women that men are not worth marrying because we've chosen the bear. And we've also told women that men aren't worth having them protect them because they look at them as if they're less than men and human. And that is exactly what Humble Dad was saying. Women have all the leverage in this situation, but they refuse to leverage it because they want to put the responsibility anywhere else other than themselves. Here's the problem. You don't want to let society put that on you. You can't use society. Well, society says this. Society can't tell you when to open and close your legs. Society don't even tell you when you should take a bath. But no man can tell you what to do. No man can tell you what to do with your body, my choice, or whatever. But at the end of the day, when you've made a bad decision, we want to blame everybody else except the responsibility on ourselves. And to me, that is the whole antithesis of this podcast. Women want all the power, but none of the responsibility.
Close us out, Jay Zilla.
Appreciate it, man. Lost, there's nothing I can say against that. And I think we're all kind of dancing around the same issues. And I myself am guilty of focusing on the wrong things. Why do people want power without responsibility? It's because you've been sold that that's how you get what you want. And maybe it's an altruistic thing that you think, once I have all the power, I'm going to make everything right according to what you think. But that's not good leadership. So as women, you should absolutely keep your dadgum legs closed. Period. You are solely responsible for that as an individual. As men, what you do with your body, you're going to have to be held accountable for, or at least you should. That's on you as an individual. And if both parties are doing their part, we're not in this mess that we're in. And that's all I'm saying is that we need to come together. I'm serious about this ceasefire. Stop saying women this, men that, and say, hey, we as people should be doing X, Y, Z. Let's maybe lead with the solutions instead of doing these hot button things. But I get it. We got shows, all of us. We have to get those clicks and engagement. But man, I wish we could be more just solution driven first and talk about it as us as people. People are some things, people are something else. They're good, they're bad, whatever. But we all, each as individuals, have our own responsibilities for our own moral agency. And that's all I'm saying.
Well, appreciate that. I do come with solutions. They may be not like what you like, but every show I have is solutions based. If you look at it, it's typically around how can we do X, Y, Z. So appreciate y'all. Hey, don't forget to check out It's Jamie, you know what I'm saying, on all platforms. Jay Zilla doing his thizzle and Mistaken. Make sure y'all go check her out at She Critique. And always Lost in Translations all over the airwaves. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been dope. Listen, I let the Pentecostal come out today. My bad for holding out so long, but it was Jay Zilla's fault. All right. Until next time, we out here.
Lack of responsibility.
All right, what's up, everybody? It is me, the owner of the podcast. I just wanted to tell you guys thank you for tuning in. I will probably be doing this again later on this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and everybody's channels whose links are available.